Okay, just what everyone wants. No Larry. No Larry. I think Larry. Okay, there's a chance Larry is going to join us, but the man is tuckered out. I think he's overcoming a little bit of a sickness, like a dusting of sickness. And we did have a long day. He had to do radio at 8:30 in the morning or whatever. So we've been out in San Francisco all day. I'm a little tuckered myself, so I understand it.
But you're looking live.
Looking live
at Rye and Dan. Rye in Lafayette, California.
Live in Lafayette, California.
And I'm here in Peoria, Arizona, where it's an hour later. It's actually 10:36.
Wow. That is some good time zones there, Dan.
Yeah. So we got a little bit to talk about tonight. We got we're not going to go too long, everybody. Hopefully, it's been a long holiday weekend. Everybody's been kind of spending time with family, shopping. Probably some people that are just kind of wiped out. And so with a Niner victory today, a 13-0 shutout, defense came up big. Offense looked a little rusty, but it was one of those games, right? It was one of those kind of gotcha type weeks. It looked like it could be a setup maybe for an upset with the Niners coming off of.
You thought that the Saints were booby trapped?
Yeah, it was a little bit. It was a little bit different. Go ahead and block that other guy there. See, right? It looked like a little trap game because, Niners coming out of Mexico City, gung-ho Monday night game, and then they get home early Tuesday morning. Wednesday's an automatic day off, pretty much, or Tuesday.
Plus, they've had everyone has been singing their praises, even nationally all week.
Yeah, and then you got Thanksgiving, so you take that. So you really didn't do anything until Friday. Putting in, game plans and everything for the players. So it was tough. So the defense came up big. A lot of people getting on the offense of like the Niners. I mean, Saints got a top defense. I mean, and their guys were back. Cam Jordan was back today. A couple other guys that were missing were back.
Wait. I will say, you know what, guys? As we all learned in school, if you all come together, you can affect change. If you all want to just start spamming Larry's Twitter account and saying, join the live stream, you can give that a try. I'm just going to throw that one out there. I think that may do it. But yes. No, I agree. I'm trying to think, Dan, okay, obviously great job by the defense. Saints do have good defense. They that was kind of the game they wanted to play. It was the kind of slow, muck it up, stay attached the whole time. Oh, Dan. And so I'm trying to think, what is the hot take? If we were in charge of all debate shows tomorrow, but they had to be about the Niners, what is the debate tomorrow?
I think to me, the debate is it was a trap. It was a tough week, and they need a.
Are we going to debate whether or not it was a tough week?
I just think it's kind of like. I just think, hey, you got to wait. Victories are hard to come by in the NFL. Just ask Baltimore. Go ahead and ask Tampa Bay. Upsets on the to both those teams today on the road. Seattle goes down to the Raiders at home. So, I mean, to me, it was a win-win for the 49ers this weekend. They won, and Seattle took it on the chin. So, Niners essentially go up 2 games because they're going to end up with a better division record. So, they've got to – I mean, when I say 2 games, if they're still up 1 game when they play Seattle, Seattle will have to if they tie, I mean, Seattle's pretty much Niners.
We should just purposefully tie them.
Yeah. I mean, Jaguayo, donates $2 and says we have to admit the Saints were ready to play. Of course, yeah, Saints were playing for something big today because the Falcons lost, and so did Tampa. So and the Saints have play Tampa next week, so they could have went into that game a half game behind and playing for the division lead.
What a dog
next
crap
week.
division! Oh my
god! Hey, cut that guy there again. I don't want to. Every time I hit it, there we go. Jeez, every time I hit it, it pops up on the screen.
Yes, but that's my thing is like I just feel pretty positive about it and like. Yeah, pretty good. The Niners are in like really good shape and are almost a lock for the 3 seed in a home playoff game. I mean, they're not going to probably go much higher because Dallas is already too far ahead and the Eagles are too far ahead and Minnesota, or actually not Dallas, but like, Minnesota and Philly are so far ahead. So like, I just don't know what there is to debate about this Niners season right now. And that's what's kind of like infuriating me. I don't know
injuries. I mean, here's a debate. Trading Jeff Wilson. A lot of people think that trading Jeff Wilson in a Super Bowl or bust type year was, even though he requested the trade, was like short-sighted because now Mitchell may be out for a while, and all you have is CMC, and Jeff Wilson could be very useful right now. Looks like next week Jeff Wilson will be healthy with the Dolphins as opposed to a healthy play for the Niners.
Oh, we've got some debate. This is good. This is what I was looking for. Okay, so Anonymous is basically saying like, "Where's your Jimmy G hat, Dan?" Like,
come on into the room, Anonymous.
Like, Anonymous. No, he's like, but it's like, do you see now, or are you still wearing Karuska? I thought Jimmy played well today.
Played well. He made one bad throw. The pick was a bad throw. But it I
mean, every quarterback like makes those throws.
Rodgers had a couple of picks. Aaron Rodgers had 2 more picks tonight. Everybody makes them. Anonymous. I challenge you to come on into the show, and we'll put you on the video, and we'll debate face to face. You'll no longer be anonymous.
He's a little too anonymous.
He's a little too anonymous.
I was thinking
he might be that bot. Anonymous.
Don't say that.
He might be that guy that says
Anonymous is a great Krueg show follower, and I really love him. This is just good debate.
Is he a member? I don't think so.
I don't know if anybody's even members anymore. Being a member was so this summer.
What did you guys get for this membership?
No. But Jimmy, I was thinking like, what is it that these? Because I can really see it with like Tua. I have a really hard time being like, oh my God, like Tua's the MVP of the league right now, when it's like he does have by far the best stats, but he's also got all these weapons. But then I was just sort of thinking like it is sort of like a Jimmy G thing where it's like,
hey, listen to this. He says he's too mature to be a bot, Dan, but you still go by the name Anonymous. So I don't know.
That's okay. He's so mature, he must be anonymous. But
I don't get being anonymous.
I was thinking like, okay, how many people, I think everyone got so enamored with like the Mahomes and Josh Allen and Herbert and all of this craziness, and even Lamar to an extent with his running. And it's like, oh my God, this is the new NFL. Like you need to have one of these guys who can throw it sidearm backwards all the way across the field perfectly. And it's like, yes, like it's nice to have guys that can escape the rush and like make the extra play and complete some of those crazy difficulty plays. But how many plays in a game are even that to like require that level of talent or skill? Like maybe 3, 4?
Yeah. So
game?
Anonymous.
And it's like Jimmy G doesn't make those throws, but what he does do is he executes for an offense. He executes for an offense that's been like number 1 in DVOA for like the last 5 weeks. I mean, normally a Shanahan offense with Jimmy G is like top 5. Like, I don't know. Like, that's like about what you'd want. Like, as long as they keep having these good defenses, like a top 5 offense is fine.
I don't understand what everybody has against Jimmy, especially Anonymous. He really gets on Jimmy. Like, I mean, Steve Young just said this week sign Jimmy for 10 more years. I
That
mean, you're
seemed a bit
talking,
excessive.
yeah, I think he's a little bit hyperbole there, but I think what he's trying to say is Jimmy's a solid quarterback and he knows the system and he's doing what is being asked of him. You got another.
I know. It's stuff you don't have to
Let me
point it
see.
out.
David Hasselhoff donates $4.99. Says Jimmy's stats throwing over 10 yards and 20 yards the last 4 games? Question mark. Jimmy's still the same old mid Jimmy. Not sure what he means, but Jimmy hasn't thrown a pick in 4 straight games now? Is it 4?
Yeah, and I don't understand. Like, it's like he's executes the offense well. I don't really know. Like, yes, he's not going to be able to do what Aaron Rodgers can do, and he makes like mistakes. But
Mario says Jimmy took anonymous girl.
Anonymous like gets hot chicks. He was with wasn't he with like Miss Hawaii or something in the 90s?
I don't even. I'm still trying to figure out who Anonymous actually is.
This is like when you're going after MF, trying to figure if he was real.
I know MF's real because I make a lot
like
of
Anonymous. Honestly, what games are you guys watching? I'm just like watching. It doesn't even. I don't even have to watch the games. Like, they're just winning with Jimmy, and he's like, he's leading this off. Like, I don't know. Like, hey, it's and then like, what can you say? You'd be like, Jimmy has so many weapons, and it's like, okay, like, what quarterback doesn't need a bunch of weapons to win?
Exactly.
Aaron Rodgers lost one wide receiver and completely turned into a shell of himself. Like, if you don't have, like, even Patrick and then Tua gets like Tyreek Hill and now he's awesome. It's like, yeah, that's like every quarterback that, like, Brady always had Gronk, Wes Welker, all these guys, like every great, and Patrick Mahomes has had Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, and Justin Herbert's got Keenan. Like, it's like every one of them has these great receivers. So,
yeah, exactly. Jaguayo 56 donates $2. Thank you, Jaguayo. Says, do you think we finally see Mason as RB1? Is CMC okay? First, CMC is okay. He was back in the game, and so he's fine. And Mason will be the backup going forward next week if Mitchell's not able to play. It looks like Mitchell may have another MCL sprain. Hasn't been determined if it's a grade 1 or grade 2. Generally, a grade 1 will cost you about 2 weeks. A grade 2 could cost you 3 or 4 weeks. So I don't think Mitchell will be out for the season, whatever it is. Hopefully it's just a grade 1.
He won't even go on IR, I don't think.
Yeah, if it's a grade 1, it'll just be a couple weeks, and you'll see Mason as backup, and then they'll call up TD Price and have 3 running backs, suited up for game day.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I just thought Joe Burrow, to be fair. Oh, wait, no. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon. Just trying to think of one great quarterback that doesn't have any weapons.
One great quarterback that doesn't have any weapons. Well, Mahomes has this year, he's been, a lot of guys been hurt. Hardman's been hurt. Yep. Schuster's been out. It seems like their backups go down.
But he always has Kelce.
Yeah, he always has Kelce. He got his 12th touchdown earlier today to lead, maintain the league lead in touchdown receptions.
Wait, we do have to touch on, so like that the second part of that is CMC, he was listed on the injury report. I was on the Noculars, and he was doing a lot of those, like, put his leg, like cross his leg and like push down type stretches, like some stuff it seemed like maybe loosen up his hip and his quad.
They said it was a knee.
And I think it's one of those things where it's like those muscles are like, you need to like loosen those up to like take relief off your knee. And it seems like, I don't know. It seems like some sort of, like, it wasn't an injury. It almost seems like this is something that they have known he's had, and they're just kind of like, it's almost like a very light version of like a Javon Kinlaw thing. Like, not like a permanent thing, but like a thing that it seems like he might have to manage all year.
Yeah, you know, it could have some fun this week with Raheem Mostert returning. He's
Yeah,
throwing a
what the
little
heck?
shade, threw a little shade at the Niners today about saying that they have way more weapons in Miami than they have in San Francisco. Quarterback is, made a reference to Tua being the dude. Um,
But
and
it's just
he,
funny because it's like, okay, well, if you have way more weapons, then yeah, that's why your quarterback would be better, dude.
but it's interesting because he's also saying the Niners mishandled his injury last year when he chose to sit the whole season out after week one. When it so he's got a little bit of sounds like a little bit of bitterness toward the Niners. And
I don't understand also like all the stuff about those guys actually use the weapons, whereas like Jimmy gives basically long handoffs to receivers and they do the rest of the work, but they lead the league in yak yards. It's like, yeah, like they said, all right, we've got a guy here in Jimmy and he does have his weaknesses. All right, what can we do with Jimmy? What is Jimmy good at? Jimmy's good at getting the ball out quick, which honestly, there's a very small group of people in the NFL that
yeah,
can get the ball out quick and be accurate and throw in the middle of the field. Russell Wilson doesn't even throw in the middle of the field. Actually,
no, I
he
mean,
throws all outside. You can't see over the line. It's like that's not a bug. That's a feature. Like
yeah,
these are high probability completions that are an extension of the running game that are going to always like keep the clock churning. You're always going to be getting positive yards. And then if they can have this efficient of an offense with throwing those throws, why would you just start taking like crazy deep shots and trying to fit it in crazy tight holes deep down the field? Like
yeah. I did
that's
notice Danny
ridiculous.
Gray was out there on a few snaps. I saw him out there today. So the fact that he was up last week and is up this week may point to the Niners hopefully looking
David
to open
Hasselhoff
it
says,
up.
but why can't Jimmy sniff 300 yards with so many weapons? Because the way they run their offense, the passes are an extension of the running game. And what happens when you run the ball a lot? When you run the ball a lot and you're always completing passes because he has such a high completion percentage, you're always having that clock just churn, churn, churn,
Exactly.
churn, churn. And Shanahan's smart enough to know that the best defense is playing less defense. And so he has a bunch of guys and he keeps them fresh by keeping them on the sideline by running that type of offense. So no, he's not going to have like situations where it's like, oh, boom, 2 plays and like now it's a touchdown. Now defense is back on the field. It's like that's it, even though that is obviously like something you want to be able to do, it's kind of like, I don't know, you have to play some form of complementary football. And this just leaves the least margin for error probably in their calculation.
Exactly. I mean, you want to control the ball, time of possession. Today, I'm trying to find out what the. Let me see if I can see what the total time of possession
Like,
was.
isn't that what
Niners
Joe
had.
Montana did? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, but like, obviously, Joe Montana, you know, probably first or second greatest quarterback ever by accomplishments and by everything he meant to the area and wins and all of that. Same thing as Brady. But like, wasn't that a big part of his game? Was just like quick, short passes and then let the
Oh yeah, a
receivers
lot of
do the
short
like
passes.
that
Yeah, you
literally
had.
is Bill Walsh's foundation. Shanahan's just
Sure.
doing it in his own way. It's the
Yeah,
foundation is that exact philosophy. It makes so much sense. You have high completion percentage, you get to control the ball, and yeah, I mean it's like a way of like being like an offensive football team that's also super tough. And so I don't understand the problem.
yeah. I mean, you had Jerry Rice, John Taylor. Jerry Rice, maybe the greatest
Yeah,
football
you're
player
the
ever.
greatest football player of all time. I mean, and if you talk about weapons, and he had the, maybe the best offensive mind of all time. So
I
it's
think
like,
Jimmy's biggest, probably his biggest weakness is his mobility to scramble and get out of the pocket. He's pretty slow
oh yeah,
footed, and so that's the biggest thing. As long as he has enough time in the pocket, though, the Niners are going to be fine because there was one play today where he went to looked like he went to Jennings when everybody kind of looked to the right and he kind of started to uh, kind of go right a little bit, and McCaffrey went left into the flat in the end zone, completely uncovered, and had Jimmy. He never looked though. I mean, he never looked, and it was. I know the play was designed to go probably, to Jennings, but that's where I think a little bit more film study, a little bit more just awareness of the play when he goes right, that McCaffrey's probably going to be wide open because the defense went with him. I think that'll come around. I really do.
And also, it's like Joe could also throw longer than 30 yards when we need it. Okay, first of all, Jimmy actually can throw it deep, and he's done it a lot of times in clutch situations. I think he's like leading the league in in third and long conversions. Like he's been doing it kind of all year long.
In third and long, yeah.
With that said, and then I know it's like, oh, don't ever compare him to to Joe Montana. It's like, no, I'm just framing it that way because obviously Joe Montana is so much of a better quarterback than him. But everyone knows that, and no one's claiming that Jimmy G is even close to nobody's even claiming he's a Pro Bowler. Like he hasn't won a Pro Bowl. And nobody's saying that, or I do think he's going to make a Pro Bowl this year, but no one's even saying like, oh, he's like, top 8 in the league or top, honestly, top 10. Like I think he's about like the 13th best quarterback, but with all his traits and everything put together, this is an efficient top 5 offense every year. So
I guess David Hasselhoff has it out for Jimmy, and he says he missed a wide open CMC at 20 yards, dude. Stop it. Well, guys miss other people. Some guys miss. Rodgers missed a guy. Jimmy does miss passes at times, but you know what? He's one of the winningest quarterbacks, and if you look at the statistics, he's like in the top 4 right now of active winning quarterbacks of starts over 50 games, current quarterbacks. He's number 4, so I don't know what you expect him to do. He's not, no one's saying he's a great quarterback. No one is saying he's an all-time great. No one's putting him up there with the best quarterbacks. We're just saying that he's efficient and he's doing what the job is required. He's getting the job done.
He's efficient, and he executes a top 5 offense pretty consistently.
Yeah, I mean,
even though most of it's yard after the catch.
Yeah,
it's not
so
crazy.
Hey, look who just joined us.
What is up? What is going on?
What is
going
on?
Hey. We were still going to go tonight, man. I started watching the first half again. And I started falling asleep on the couch.
Wait, Larry, before you even give a Niner take, did you happen to see Jordan Love? Because that was pretty insane.
He looked good.
No, I didn't see it. I mean, I saw him when I turned off the Eagle game. He was coming into the game.
It's a huge overreaction, but I'm immediately buying into the narrative of like, oh, how like the Rodgers Favre thing, and now it's repeating itself. Like, I'm in. I just feel like the Packers have the luck at the quarterback position, and he just looked so comfortable back there and was just slinging the ball. And then the Christian Watson like 80-yard touchdown. It's pretty sick.
He was 6 of 9 for 113 yards and a touchdown, huh?
And another one of his passes, probably his best pass, was like straight in the hands of the receiver, and then
why didn't I start Watson again? I sat him for Christian Kirk. Doggone it! I didn't even see that.
Too much time making trades, Danny. Not enough time worrying about your own lineup.
Yeah,
that's what happens when you focus too much on who's not on your team instead of on who's on your team.
Well, I just thought Watson might slow down, but hey, the connection. He looks like the guy that everybody thought he was coming out of North Dakota State now. Long, fast.
I hope we're saying this about Trey. This is why I'm going to just be I'm admitting that I'm being irrational here, but just for fun, I'm just going to let myself believe that he totally is a guy. And mostly it's me coping with the fact that like Trey's not going to play, basically this whole offseason, but maybe he just shows up like Jordan Love and just another year of maturity, not really playing, and he's just awesome.
Well, the one thing that bugs me, I'll tell you, this really, really bugs me, and I'm going to go on a little rant here because there's a lot of sports fans that just don't get it when it comes to guys that are young in the league and raw, because this goes to the Warriors, the basketball, it goes to young quarterbacks at positions like that. It takes a couple of years to develop. Josh Allen stunk his first year. He was like 50% passing with tons of interceptions. Aaron Rodgers, his first year after sitting for 3 years, threw a ton of interceptions. I went to 2 of the games, one in Jacksonville and another one in Arizona. And, he wasn't that great. But the next year, he made the playoffs. And then his third year starting, he won the Super Bowl. So you got to give these guys time. It's not like coming out of college or coming out of, the G League. That's why I'm still gung-ho on Kuminga and Wiseman. I think Kuminga is going to be a star in basketball.
What about Elliot Ramos?
Elliot Ramos, I don't know.
Yeah, not so much.
I'm not so much on Ramos but who knows? Baseball's a little bit different because you got a lot of years you're playing in the minors. These guys just 1 year with Trey. So I'm going to say that these guys are going to get better, and film usually doesn't lie. I mean, if you saw Trey Lance at North Dakota State, he dominated. Yeah, the competition was less, but he dominated. So that tells me that he has it in him, and he just needs time. So
that's the question. The question is, are they ever going to give him enough time? Are the fans give him enough time? Is Shanahan going to give him enough time? To the 49er organization, are they wired that way to maybe, what if his time frame doesn't fit your time frame or their time frame? What if suddenly, he can't get better unless he plays 20 or 25 games and struggles along the way? That's the one thing with Trey. It's hard to actually picture ever there being a time where the 49er fans or the fan base or the organization itself will ever have patience for that. I mean, I can't picture it. I mean, is there ever going to be a time where they're like, yeah, it really doesn't matter if we win or lose?
No, absolutely not.
I think you muted yourself, Danny.
Dan, I believe a cat
I hit my
has
button
your tongue.
by myself.
There
I hit my button by mistake.
Chihuahua 56 says, here's $2. One thing about Jimmy G, he's a tough son of a gun. Yeah, I mean,
he took a nice shot today.
I don't know what you guys have said already on Jimmy, but to me, I mean, watching the pick six that wasn't, that was undone by a penalty.
Right.
I mean, it really kind of illustrates, how different the game would have been if that penalty hadn't negated that play. I mean, huge negative plays. Yeah. Making plays gets you wins, but huge negative plays get you beat every time. And that's what he's been avoiding, is huge negative plays. And to me, it's just like the addition of McCaffrey and the, total elimination in the last month of the huge negative play. That's the key to Garoppolo. It's not that he's anything super spectacular. It's just that he's not turning it over. And if you don't turn it over, you got a great chance to win in the NFL. You're giving yourself a chance to win if you don't turn it over, and he's not turning it over. And then McCaffrey gives him an ultimate safety valve. And now Juwan Jennings is in the mix. I thought Jennings had a terrific, that catch off the ricochet was an incredible catch, but he had 6 catches and they were all pretty important. So I just think ultimately, it'll be interesting to see what was the fallout injury wise from this game. Burford is the most serious injury.
Ankle with Burford. I don't know.
Seems like maybe Mitchell's. I mean,
Mitchell's an MCL sprain to the other knee that he hurt earlier this year. So that's good that it's not the same knee.
So he's not done for the year. He'll be back.
No, I don't. It's probably. Hopefully, it's only a grade 1. If it's a grade 1, so? It's like a 2-week. They haven't said yet. I'm sure they'll have to MRI it and find out, what grade it is. Even if it's a grade 2, it's like 4 weeks generally.
So
But I saw some positive stuff today out of Mason. Mason was running hard.
He was, and it's if you're on the roster and you have any talent at all, they're going to get to you. It's just a matter of time. It's like everybody goes down. There's tons of injuries. I agree, Danny. I thought Jordan Mason ran hard. He runs upright. He's going to take some hits, but he's 230 pounds.
Yeah. So these guys again. There's a sign of a guy that's sat pretty much for 10, 11 weeks. And he's getting better, it looks like. He's learning more of the offense every week. We saw this last year with Aaron Banks. Banks didn't even suit up, I don't think, much last year, did he?
Dan, we were talking about this on the car ride
Twice
over.
all year.
How, like, on the car ride back from the game, it was like, man, look at like the growth that we've already seen from the young guys like Drake Jackson, Wilma, and then like Banks, and then think about all of these awesome guys they have like Kalia Davis and Poe and Danny Gray, like all these guys that are essentially getting like a redshirt year. And maybe there's something to it.
Yeah, who else looked pretty good today? We didn't even hear his name called, so that tells you he had a good game. Was Mike McGlinchey. From what I saw on TV, he was pass blocking pretty well. Maybe I missed some places where he got beat, but I didn't see much of it. And the plays that I was, zeroing in on him, he looked like he was keeping his man in front of him. So shout out to that. I don't know what Anonymous is saying here. Not at all. Dan, I don't know what he's referring to.
Anonymous is McGlinchey got called for holding at least on one time. Yeah.
So did Kittle. So let's get rid of Kittle too. It's like everybody's just like
McGlinchey is everybody's favorite guy to kind of beat up on. Because he was a first round pick and he's a right tackle and he's a free agent at the end of the year, and it's so easy to see his bad plays on, isolated on social media.
Dan, you're getting called out.
Anonymous is in Dan's head. Oh, it says, he's talking about Banks playing last year. Not at all. I don't know. Did Banks play last year? I don't remember. Maybe he did a game.
No.
Banks was active only 2 times last year, and I don't believe he got into a game. If he did, it was only for a play.
Yeah. So I'm right. Yeah. So anyway,
permaculture, he did.
Yeah.
Permaculture says Womack looked great. I thought it's hard to say until I go through the game a second time all the way through, but I thought Tayshaun Gibson made some plays. I felt like Jimmy Ward. I felt like the Niners secondary was flying around. I know Diamador Lenore, got called for a couple penalties, but I think Lenore is impressing me, guys.
The one in the end zone was ticky-tack, in my opinion.
Really ticky-tack.
Yeah.
And I like the moxie that Lenore shows as a cover man. I mean, he's not afraid. The moment's not too big for him. And then also I thought, this team's going still no Kinlaw, no Armstead. Getting Ebukam back, I thought was huge because at times they went, Ebukam and Bosa on the outside. Then sometimes they went Drake Jackson and Menahue on the outside. And then sometimes they went Jordan Willis and Drake Jackson on the outside. Sometimes they went, Menahue and Jackson on the inside and Willis and Bosa on the outside, or Bosa and Ebukam on the outside. So I like what they're doing as far as he's got, very little depth at defensive tackle. We talked after the game. I thought it was a really enjoyable ride to T.Y. McGill, who's a veteran. And what a great conversation. I mean, here's a guy that's been around the league. He's a multiple-year vet. He's seen other programs. And he's like, hey, man, I've been other places. I can tell you, guys here, they work. They've got great work ethic here. And they've got great culture here. And, I thought it was a really interesting conversation because we only partially kind of prompted him with that. He kind of just went off on his own about the Niners culture and how hard they practice and how they don't give away days. And I took a lot away from that. I thought that was a pretty good dialogue.
For
Hey,
real.
Justin Kerwin's trying to get your attention here. It's all caps, Larry.
What's that?
He says, "Hey, Larry.
Hey, Larry.
It's November 27th. Still no Judge sign with the Giants. LOL.
I know.
All cap.
I
Hey,
know.
I think he's just upset about that trade that he got Damian Pierce. That Justin, you got taken on that trade.
I got
Big
off
time.
the Damian Pierce bandwagon.
Just in time, man. Just in time. I think he's gotten like 6 points since he made that trade. And his other guy that you gave him, Dotson, has done 0. So,
wait. By the way, speaking of Aaron Judge, Larry and I cut together a bit of a pitch for the big man.
Oh, do you got it?
Yeah,
you got it. I want to hear
Play
it.
And Judge, you need to come home, bruh. It's beautiful out here. I mean, wherever you are right now, I bet you it's not like this. So, come get some of this Bay love, man. The fans out here are beautiful. They love up on everyone. So, come on out.
Tell the camera why Aaron Judge ought to come to San Francisco.
Because the weather is amazing. And we got us, Golden State, and I think if you sign with the Giants, those are 3 potential championship teams right there. I don't know. It sounds like a pretty nice bet to me. But I love San Fran. I've only been here for a couple months, and one thing I know is the weather is always awesome. So can't go wrong with that.
It's warm. It's
It
warm.
is warm.
And it's almost December, and it's warm. So I'll tell you, I love California. From Oregon, I was raised in the rain, so being in sunshine most of the year, I don't get much better than that for sure.
And because the Bay is where it's at. The Bay we like to play.
There you go. There you go.
All right. Yeah. Aaron Judge.
I love Marcelino, man. He's a character.
Oh.
The Niners, Drake Jackson saying, come on out. Aaron Judge signed with the Giants. Okay.
Drake
I'm
Jackson
just trying.
didn't
I
know
get
who
people
Aaron
killing
Judge
me on
was.
Twitter because I'm just trying to be honest. I'm not trying to, somebody was like, I saw somebody was like, hey, Larry Krueger's saying all this stuff about Aaron Judge. I'm just sharing with the audience what insight and inside sources I've been privy to. Okay. I got a little inside tip that Aaron was 95% wanted to sign with the Giants. This was over a month ago. I put that out there. Then I was playing basketball with my kid in Pleasant Hill the other day, and I ran into a certain longtime Giant who said, Krug, and I said, hey, is Judge coming here? And he said, Farham likes to spread that money around, and it doesn't, it's unlikely. So I shared that with everybody. And now it's like, oh, he's talking out of both sides of his mouth. No, actually, I've had 2 different sources give me 2 different stories. I will say this. The second source that said that he's not coming, I would say is more credible than the first source. But even that, I can't speak to 100%.
I don't know, Larry.
Well, that second source, and I know.
What do you think?
What
What do you guys think? 'Cause I told you.
He may not be like in on the know, or as some people might look at it and say, just a smokescreen. Maybe he is coming. I'll say this. I put out a tweet just last night. I was thinking about it.
That's the shirt.
Giants,
the shirt. I put out a tweet. And
well,
it's a picture of your
I was
face.
just thinking about it. I said,
We should get
the Giants,
Danny a shirt. This is I put out a tweet.
Yeah.
I put out a tweet last
Hey,
night.
did you see that tweet I sent you guys? An article. I showed
That's,
up.
that's the second T-shirt. That's the
I
alternate.
showed up in somebody's stinking article with a tweet.
Really?
They quoted my
Really?
tweet. I look at the text I sent you guys today. I'm just flying around on the internet looking today, and some article about Juan
Stop being so
Soto.
reckless. You
And
know,
the guy
you be
puts
careful
my
what you
tweet-
put out there. People are going to
The
pretend
guy
like you're
puts
actually
my
a source.
tweet in the middle of his article. I'm quoted. It's weird. Anyway, I was saying, the Giants are really in the driver's seat in this. They really are, if you think about it.
How so?
Well, here's how so. They met with Judge, right?
They
And
finished
said,
32 games out of first place.
Here's why they're in the driver's seat.
Their manager is,
They're elated, right? You even quoted
worried
that.
about his
You-
beard trimming.
Yeah, you even quoted that they're elated. So if they're elated, and Judge met with them for 2 days, and they came away elated, meaning they feel good
Is
about.
that like that Mexican corn?
So Judge they must have felt good vibes coming from Judge. So here's how they're in the driver's seat.
Rise on the wacky tobacco,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, just blow them away. Just blow the Yankees offer away. I mean, seriously, blow it away. If you went like 9 years, 10 years, 400 million,
Double it.
Yankees ain't going to match that.
It's all just money, right, Danny?
It is.
SecureMoney.com
And if
on
he
the
says
web.
no,
Yeah, securemoney.com on the web.
If he says no, go sign Correa, Bellinger, Abreu, and DeGrom.
Abreu?
Yeah, Abreu.
Abreu?
First base. First base. Put him at first base, right-handed DH.
I mean, to me, they finished 30 games back. Their team's old. Their farm system's not producing for the most part. You know, they're at a franchise crossroads. They've talked a big game. Now it's on them. Let's see what they do. But I mean, you know, it's amazing how many people are there to, like, you know, tell you how great these guys are. It's like, you know what? They're the team. They built a team last year that finished 32 games out. So you're only as good as your last game, right? Yeah. So yeah, were they good 2 years ago? Yeah, they were. But last year they weren't very good.
Here's why guys like
we'll see what they
George
can do.
Costanza says this would be physically irresponsible, to say the least, offering Judge that. First of all, what you don't let me put it this way.
Fiscally irresponsible. Yeah. They bought the team we're talking about funny money. First of all, what are these toys? What are these franchises? Yeah. They're typically toys for the filthy rich.
They're the fifth richest team in baseball. They're the 42nd.
What do they make revenue-wise?
Highest, yeah. The revenue is unbelievable.
They only spent all you need to know is this. The Giants spent 47% of their revenue on player payroll last year. The Dodgers spent 52% of their revenue pie on player payroll. The Dodger player revenue pie is bigger. So the Dodgers already make more money, and now they spend a higher percentage of that money on their payroll than the Giants do. I think the Giants, where do you start? What should they be spending? They should be spending the exact same percentage of revenue that LA spends. And that means that they should spend about $20 million more than what the Giants spent a year ago. They pocketed that difference last year. All I want to see that money spent on player payroll. And how they spend it.
That 5% from 47 to 52 amounted to $20 million last year.
$20 million last year.
So that would have easily got them, say, Castellanos and Schwarber.
And that last year might have made a huge difference.
Yeah. Had you had Schwarber and Castellanos, yes, we saw what it did for the Phillies lineup. So here's the thing. What George, if Aaron Judge came to the Giants, they had 2.2 million in attendance last year. They would top 300. They would top 3 million in 23, which $800,000 at an average ticket price.
800,000 tickets.
Yeah, I mean 800,000 tickets at an average of $75 a ticket, not counting any concessions or merchandise that Judge would bring in. 800,000 times 75 would give you $60 million more in revenue. He just paid for himself.
He hasn't even sold 199 jersey.
Yeah, exactly. So this is why you do this. And you worry about the back end of the contract later on. Yeah, they might be an Albert Pujols situation for the last 4 years or so of the contract. But you know what? The Giants have so much money. And with the Mission Rock project, they can afford to eat that contract or do whatever they need to do. So I'm not worried about the money at all.
No, it's not about the money. It's really a referendum on their culture and where they're at as a contender. And that's what people don't want to talk about is that, well, you know, it's all, you know, it's up to him. Yeah, but this is a referendum on how the Giants are viewed from the outside. And that's why it's so vital. If they don't get Judge, I think they probably move on to Carlos Correa. That's my guess. I think Correa is clearly the second best free agent out there.
Yeah,
I would love to see him get Correa and Bellinger.
I would love to see him get all three, and I think they could if they really wanted to. I think
Correa might be more important in some ways to their build than Judge, from the standpoint of if you get Correa, or if you get a Bogarts, or if you get a Dansby Swanson, or you get a Trey Turner. you can then turn around and pivot and trade Marco Luciano right now, this offseason, and get a big time arm if you wanted to. And that's the attraction. If you have Carlos Correa, see, I think one thing Farhan's smart enough to know this. There will be Judgment Day from Giants fans on the job that he's done. And ultimately what it's going to come down to is, what do you want to be judged on? And he makes such
Larry, are you saying that he wants to be judged by Judge?
Yes, exactly. There will be a judgment day. All rise. No, no, but there's going to be Judgment Day, and it's going to either come. You can either be evaluated on what you did at the major league level, trade wise, and he's made a bunch of moves, but most of them are nondescript. They do have the one incredible season where they won 107 games. That's on his ledger, but I mean, ultimately, he's going to be evaluated on, do they win? And also, right now, because he hasn't made any big high profile, acquisitions at the major league level, he's really kind of tied his whole evaluation to these prospects that he's put in the farm system the last few years, the Hunter Bishops and you name it. Somebody out of that pipeline is going to have to start to, they haven't really had anybody bubble to the surface that's like, oh, hell yeah, that guy's a foundation piece. Maybe it'll be Kyle Harrison. Maybe it'll be Luis Matos. Maybe it'll be somebody else. But they haven't had that player yet. So they're eventually going to be judged on how those players do. So I think it might make sense for them at this point in time, if they can get a Correa, they can get a Turner, to turn around and trade a Marco Luciano, and maybe you can get him, maybe who knows, maybe you can get a Corbin Burns. A big time ace that could front your rotation. But I definitely think they're going to have to either get their prospects, matriculating through the system pretty quickly here, or they're going to have to probably flip one for somebody that can help them at the major league level. Right.
Yeah. And hey, Mr. Getting back to the Niners and Jimmy G, Mr. BMW Lotus, I guess he's calling us morons and idiots.
We're morons and we're idiots.
He's just saying that we shouldn't say that Jimmy G played great.
I didn't say he played great today. He played within the game plan.
I don't think any of us think he's great.
I didn't think he played great.
Well,
he didn't play.
He didn't turn it over. I mean,
it
near pick sixes called back because of penalties.
He also threw a couple plays away. He actually threw some balls away intentionally today, out of the end zone. It was muddied up in the middle of the end zone, and he just threw it over everybody's head intentionally.
See, I would disagree with the notion though that he didn't play well, because you're still, they put a huge part of the game plan in his hands against a pretty good defense.
Most throws he's ever had in his career in the first half.
Yeah, right? Kyle Shanahan said he thought the Saints had the best defense in the league when healthy. So, you're going up and he's so. I guess he's getting a little, and he you're crossing the line close on this comment too here. We don't want to go too political here.
He's saying we're demons.
Demons or Dems?
I know.
Yeah, let's leave political party out of this.
Yeah, that could
at least until the body cam footage gets released.
Yeah, third strike, you may go into timeout. Even though I don't believe in cancel culture, so I'm a free speech advocate. So
all right, now this is Dan's Politics Hour. Brought to you by.
In the next segment, Dan will defend Jerry Jones. All right, it'll be brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. All right.
The best a man can get or nothing.
To me, I thought this was an interesting game today from the standpoint of no points for the Saints, none. I mean, I thought that was a surprise. I was surprised that the 49ers, the ball bounced their way a little bit. Today might have been a little bit of a fortunate game from the standpoint of Alvin Kamara doesn't typically fumble twice in a game, and in this game he did. Is that you credit the Niners for punching that ball out, or is it luck? Is it football gods? Who knows? But they got a couple fumbles, and I think if anything, this should be a lesson that, you one or two turnovers changes the game. This is a fairly even football game. Niners got a couple turnovers. They wind up winning by a couple scores, but if the Saints had been +2 on the turnover table, I guarantee you it would have been a different feeling, or at least a much different result. So I thought overall, I like the fact that Jimmy spread the ball around, got into a little bit of a rhythm with his receivers. Jawan Jennings had a terrific day across the board.
Awesome.
Jennings is really coming into his own, and they've got a number of weapons when it comes right down to it that they trust, because the thing about Jennings, and all not real Niner fans know this, as great as all these other weapons are, if you told any Niner fan that Jimmy G in the biggest moment of the game, and maybe later on this year, let's say maybe even in a Super Bowl game, went to Jawan Jennings, nobody's going to think twice about it. Why? Because Jawan has established himself as a money player.
Money.
When you put money on the table, Jawan Jennings is there. And Jawan Jennings is great at the podium. Jawan Jennings
third
is
third and one. Somebody said there it is. Third and one. I like that.
Think about the big catch he came up with against Green Bay. Think about the big sideline out route against the Cowboys.
Oh yeah,
this guy did it with the money on the table. I trust him. Jimmy trusts him. You can see the way Jimmy interacts with his receivers in the locker room, that there's a love and a respect, and that these guys have for one another. So I think if you're the 49ers, the vibe is really good around the Niners right now. They're obviously playing really well. They got a deep defensive line. They've got a fast physical defense. They got a much better secondary than I think people realize. And offensive line wise, I guess I'm kind of concerned about Burford, because I think Burford and Banks are a major key to this team this year as well. I mean, you got two hulking young guards who are keeping the pressure out of Jimmy Garoppolo's face. And I mean, how valuable is that? I mean, I think that right there is worth maybe 3 or 4 turnovers.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimmy can't escape. We've talked about this. I talked to Sean Salisbury about this. Some guys escape out the side door. Kyler, Russell. Yeah. Some guys escape north and south, and that's usually most pocket quarterbacks. Jimmy is not.
Jimmy's in a box. Jimmy's stuck back there. He can't get
Jimmy,
around.
if he's going to escape, is going to be north and south. So it's if you he's not a guy who's going to. So if he gets pressure in his face, then he's got to go out the side door. It's not natural. It blows up the play. So the fact that the Niners with Brendel and then the two baby guards, Banks and Burford, they're keeping the pressure out of Jimmy's face. That's helping him avoid these turnovers. I really believe they go hand in hand.
Yeah. And Joe Schmo, Gray played today. He was in a couple snaps, also played last week, but hasn't had any targets.
Jaguar 56 says, here's $2. I thought Fred Warner played like a freaking beast. I agree. I thought Warner was everywhere. The Niners right now at linebacker between Warner and Aziz and Greenlaw, my goodness. I mean, that's an incredible group they have there. They're all fast. They're all physical. They feed off of one another. And it's like a brotherhood. I mean, Marcelino McCrary Ball went up to Aziz late in the locker room after the game. And it was like they were dapping each other up. That linebacker group is tight. And if Marcelino gets his shot, he's going to deliver as well. But they just got a ton of athletes at that spot, and they're fast and they're confident.
Yeah, I'm just looking ahead at the schedule. They've got the Dolphins and then the Bucks, and then a short week where they play Seattle, and then they've got the Commodores. I call them the commies. Commodores, and then the Raiders, and then the Cardinals. So, but I'm looking at with the big boost today was Seattle losing. So the Seahawks actually go to the Rams next week. Wouldn't surprise me to see the Rams. They're going to win eventually, and they're at home. Wouldn't surprise me to see the
Dan,
Rams.
who was
knock
their
them off.
quarterback today?
I
Bryce
have
Perkins.
no idea. I didn't even pay attention.
Yeah,
who was it?
They're not winning with Bryce.
They're not
Perkins.
beating the Rams.
But is whatchamacallit coming?
I mean, they're not beating
is
the
Stafford
Seahawks.
coming back?
No, he's going to.
Is he out for the year?
No,
He's gonna
Stafford.
be
They're
done.
saying Stafford could be out for the year.
Oh,
He's gonna be
really?
done. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, no, Bryce Perkins was 13 of 23 for 100 yards.
and they don't have Cup, so yeah, they're
he
probably
can run
done.
though. He had 9 carries for 44 yards, almost 5 yards a pop. I
Tough
bet
situation.
Kansas City. I bet Kansas City in that game because on the teaser because I just, Bryce Perkins at Arrowhead against the Chiefs. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and like Seahawks coming off a brutal loss, like they're gonna wipe the floor with them.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing that would be really, really positive in the Niners' favor is if they can go into the Seattle game up one game at least, like they are now in the standings, and defeat them, then they can go into the last week, maybe the last 2 weeks, and rest a lot of their regular guys for the playoffs. That would be huge. Just don't worry about trying to catch the second seed. Take the third seed.
They're not going to catch the second.
I don't think
I don't think they have a chance of that.
You mean catching the Vikings? I don't think they will.
No, I think that's
either.
why it's kind of boring. Like Larry, before you got on, I was asking Dan, like, what, like, if we were like controlling some sort of ESPN First Take, but it was all about the Niners for tomorrow. Like, what would our debates be? Like, there's not really that many debates. Like, they're not going to catch the Vikings or the Eagles, but they're pretty locked into the third seed. Jimmy is like, average to good. And
I'll give you a debate.
Is this true?
Who's the Niners' number one weapon?
wait, what?
Is that true? Are we talking about Justin
What?
Jefferson?
Wait, what?
I gotta look.
Justin Kerwin might be bitter because I took him in the trade. He says, Larry, Jefferson's done for the year, broken foot, surgery. Is that true?
I gotta look that up.
Wait, that is cruel if
Justin
if that's a
Jefferson.
prank.
Is that true?
Let's get it.
I mean that would
I don't see anything on it.
No, I don't see anything about
And
it.
Justin Kerwin is scooping Schefter?
Damn.
Let's hire him. Justin Kerwin, our
He's
correspondent.
our go-to correspondent. Dude, we should just have get you verified Justin
Wait a
Kerwin
second.
and just
Look at Patel here.
have you just make
M.
stuff
Patel,
up.
broken foot, 4 to 6 weeks.
I'm gonna look it up on Twitter and see if I can see
What?
if there's any Justin
Maybe-
Jefferson.
I'm trying to think of what other Jefferson they're talking about. Thomas?
I don't see anything.
Big Al
on it.
Jefferson had some really nice low post work.
He's not going to be able to play in the big three.
I don't see anything on Justin Jefferson. What are we talking about? Is he talking about another Jefferson? Oh, he's maybe Allen Robinson. That's right, Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson's done for the year.
No wonder Kerwin's
But
in
yeah,
12th
no,
place.
they're fully cooked.
Don't give us fake news, Allen Robinson.
No wonder he's in 12th place.
In fact,
Kerwin, he doesn't even know
That
the
sounds
league.
like a guy who just traded for a running back who's given him nothing in 2 weeks in a row.
how about the
Come
fact
on,
that
you got
okay,
You got taken on the Pierce trade. I mean, I got Elijah Mitchell and Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, and Pierce has gotten 15 yards since. Pierce will only run for the Krugerrands. You obviously didn't see the press conference.
how about the fact that the Rams, if they didn't win that pretty lucky Super Bowl last year, this would be like an all-time bad trade, like up there with the Russell Wilson trade. Like the way they're going to give the Lions like the number 1 pick.
Okay, I gotta throw this to you guys. Steve Young said that he doesn't want Jimmy Garoppolo around for the next 4 months. He wants Jimmy Garoppolo around for the next 10 years.
Yeah, we threw that out earlier. Yeah.
You did? You guys already talked about this?
No, just briefly, but I don't think I think that's a little tongue in cheek. But what he is saying is, I like Jimmy Garoppolo as the quarterback.
So my question is this: how's this all going to go down? I mean, it's hard to it's hard to win in the NFL. It's hard to find a leader in the NFL. You just saw Jimmy at the Warrior game. He's there with all of his guys. He's got Juice and Kittle and McCaffrey and who else? There was was there somebody else there? Juice, Kittle, McCaffrey. On him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically the four of them went to the Warrior game. Jimmy's very popular in the room. Not saying that Trey isn't, but because Trey is also very popular in the room. But I'm just kind of wondering if Jimmy continues to play, winning football. I mean, he's known for two things: their incredible record with him, and as opposed to their record without him. And he's also known for making colossal, massive screw ups. Huge negative plays. If he can eradicate the negative plays and still win a ton of games, 70+% of his games, it's the NFL. You can't look away from that. You're not going. I don't care what his contract states. I don't care what your original plan was. I don't care what the Trey's workout looked like. None of it matters. All that matters is that you win games and that the guys believe in him, and there's no doubt that exists here. So if he can evolve and not turn it over, and learn to throw the ball away and move on to the next down, aren't they staying with Jimmy next year? Aren't they moving off of Trey Lance, as unpopular or as wild as that may seem today? Don't you think that's happening if Garoppolo continues to play this way? Or is it predicated on?
I think
it's predicated on a postseason result. A specific.
There's a lot of predication on what happens in the postseason.
What needs to happen for Garoppolo to come back? And if Garoppolo, let's say the Niners basically
get to the Super Bowl,
let's say they basically run the table.
Let's say they win.
Let's say they lose one more time in the regular season, the rest of the year. What has to happen in the playoffs for him to be the guy next year?
Just get to the Super Bowl and not be the reason if they lose it.
Yeah, I mean, I just I will answer that, but like I get so annoyed by everybody that's like, you will never win a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not good enough to win a Super Bowl. And it's like, it's just so such binary thinking. Like, yes, he did not win the Super Bowl, and yes, he had a big lead in it, and yes, they had a big lead in the NFC Championship game. But it's like you can't say that he can't win a Super Bowl because he's like the closest guy in the league to a Super Bowl without winning a Super Bowl, other than Matt Ryan. And so especially when you take into account both of those years and how close it could, I think they beat the Bengals if they get past the Rams, and it's like he's been that close. Like, if we're going to think that stupidly, then what? Josh Allen's not good enough to win a Super Bowl? Oh, why? Oh, because he has never made it to a it's playing the results like that is you know what? If you can get that close, that's all you need to do is you need to get in that world like the Rams did last year. And then sometimes you can just fall into a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it takes a lot of, obviously you got to be really good to get to the Super Bowl and win it, but there is a little bit of, I wouldn't say luck, but everything has to go your way. You got to have healthy, usually it's the teams that are the most healthy that going into the
Trent
playoffs.
Effing Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
But he had an unbelievable defense. That Baltimore defense was unbelievable. So, and
this Niner defense is number one.
Yeah, same with Brad Johnson.
Yeah,
and I think Jimmy is better than Brad Johnson and Trent Dilfer when they were playing.
Here's the
has way more weapons
and
a lot more weapons on offense.
I would say Jimmy's more in line with Hostetler.
Yeah,
remember Hostetler?
For the Giants. Yeah,
I forgot to answer
one with the Giants.
I forgot to answer the question, Lair. I think that the Niners are not going to give him a long-term deal no matter what. I think that they maybe would offer him a 2 or 3 year deal. But I just don't think that they would. And I think that because of that, it's not going to work because I think that he will get that long-term deal from some desperate franchise.
Here's the only reason. Here's how they do a long-term deal where I'm talking, 5 years. Or
are we going deep into Ross?
Yeah. If they win the Super Bowl,
incentives
if they win the Super Bowl and they have a trade
explain
partner,
the cap to me.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole freaking cap, but if they have if they win the Super Bowl with Jimmy, he plays well, and he's like one of the reasons that they win it, and they have a deal that they can make for Trey and recoup some draft capital back, some, maybe a first and, a third or something like that. They'll make that deal. The deal that I would like to see them make next year for their quarterback of the future is draft that Hendon Hooker.
I want him to draft a hooker.
Yeah, I want him drafting.
You're all over that.
I like Hooker.
How do you think that Hooker's going to do?
God,
with Jimmy G
I
in
think
the
that's
locker room?
way projection, Danny.
I think if you pick him up in the they're going to have like 3 third-round picks next year. They've already got 2. They're going to pick up.
And
more
they can have 3 injury-prone quarterbacks.
No, he got an injury.
I know, I'm joking.
But you have time to let him rehab. He could be. He's also a little older. He's like 24 right now, so he's old.
Better yet, an older prospect.
He could teach Trey Lance.
But the fact is, he's got a lot of game experience in the SEC. He's 6'4". He's got a cannon for an arm. He's very accurate, and he's mobile. So let him sit and redshirt next year, and by 2024, the guy might be something.
You think he could take down Purdy?
Danny's a big fan of Hooker.
Oh,
Clarence
6'4"
Speak says, I
with an
hate
arm?
Jimmy. I hate
And
Jimmy
legs?
until I see the quarterback 20 other NFL teams have.
That's it. That's the sense. That's just the facts. It's like Jimmy's never going to tickle your fancy the way like a Mahomes will, but it's just like there's only
guys,
5 of those guys.
Should we do a quick little exercise? Should we do a quick little exercise? We'll
Jumping jacks?
Let's take a walk through the league.
Yeah.
A real quick walk through the league, and you tell me if you'd rather have this guy than Jimmy. Okay, here we go.
All right, we've done this.
Houston's Kyle Allen. Do you want to have Jimmy or you want Kyle Allen?
Jimmy.
Miami.
Mark this down, Ryan.
Skylar Thompson, Tua Tagovailoa. You want Tua? You want Jimmy?
I think I would go with. Shoot.
I'm going to go with Jimmy just because of the injuries that Tua. I don't know how long he'll last.
I'd rather have Jimmy than Tua. I don't believe in Tua. All right, but Josh Allen. You rather have Josh Allen or Jimmy?
Josh Allen.
I'll take Josh.
What?
Allen.
No, I'm just joking. All right, Jared Goff. You rather have Jared Goff or Jimmy?
Jimmy.
Giants Cowboys. You rather have Daniel Jones or Jimmy?
Jimmy.
Dak Prescott. You rather have Dak Prescott or Jimmy?
Jimmy.
Honestly,
I don't like Dak.
I don't know.
I think that's pretty much, they're pretty much on par for one another.
Yeah.
I take Jimmy just based on playoff success. Mac Jones. You want Mac Jones? You want Jimmy?
Jimmy.
Kirk Cousins. You want Kirk Cousins? You want Jimmy?
Jimmy.
I might go Kirk Cousins there.
That's that's totally reasonable.
It's
Denver. You want Russell Wilson right now? You want Jimmy?
Jesus, I cannot believe I'm saying it, but Jimmy.
You want Sam Darnold, Carolina, or you want Jimmy?
Jimmy.
You notice what we got here is a lot of Jimmies. Okay, here we go.
It's about the Jimmys and
that wasn't funny.
Jimmy,
all right,
Jimmy.
Tampa. You want Tom Brady or you want Jimmy?
I'll take for one more year. I'll take him.
Yeah,
Brady.
you got to take
Brady.
Brady.
Are you taking Jacoby Brissett? You taking Jimmy?
Jimmy. Well, it's not Brissett next week. It's Deshaun Watson next week.
We're just doing this week.
You want Lamar or you want Jimmy?
Lamar.
16 to 32 today. You want Trevor Lawrence? You want Jimmy?
I'm going to go with.
If I want to win this year,
I'm going to go with Trevor because of his age.
I'd go with Trevor too.
Yeah, I think you have to go with Trevor.
321 and 3 touchdowns today. Okay. Back to the game. Trevor Siemian or Jimmy?
Jimmy.
Mike White or Jimmy?
Jimmy.
Justin Fields or Jimmy?
For the Shanahan offense, I think still Jimmy.
Gosh, I see a lot of potential in Justin Fields, and I think he can be coached to run.
Dan, just because he's on your fantasy team,
I just think the fact that he can. I think he can be coached.
Dan, the trade deadline's over.
The trade deadline's come and gone.
I know nobody took. Nobody. I got. Can we extend that trade deadline for a couple days? Larry's going to need it. Larry's going to need it to make the playoffs, I think.
Yeah. Zach Wilson or Jimmy?
Jimmy.
Okay. Cincinnati, Tennessee. Ryan Tannehill or Jimmy?
Jimmy.
Joe Burrow or Jimmy?
Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Okay, I agree. Atlanta, Washington. Taylor Heineke or Jimmy?
Jimmy.
Marcus Mariota or Jimmy?
Jimmy.
Wow. All right, let's go on to this one. Chargers, Arizona. Kyler Murray or Jimmy?
I'm shocked I'm saying it, but Jimmy.
I know. I don't like Kyler. Jimmy.
Just the personality. It's too bad.
Justin Herbert or Jimmy?
Herbert.
Yeah, I agree. I'd go with Herbert. Okay, here we go.
We haven't disagreed yet much.
Derek Carr or Jimmy?
Jimmy.
Geno Smith or Jimmy?
Jimmy.
I still got to go Jimmy.
Bryce Perkins or Jimmy?
Who?
Jimmy.
Who's Bryce Perkins?
Bryce
Who'd he
Perkins
play?
was the guy who
He's a
played against the
TikTok
team that I
star,
bet on
Dan.
today.
Who did he play for?
The Rams.
Oh, geez. I'll take it. Yeah, Bryce. Yeah.
Your world
Harper?
defending
Bryce Harper?
Matthew Stafford or Jimmy?
Jimmy.
I mean, at this point, Jimmy.
I don't like
Really?
Stafford's-
No.
Stafford looks like he's going to go
done.
downhill.
I think he's done after
Okay.
this year.
Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, you're going
Yeah.
Mahomes.
Mahomes.
Andy Dalton or Jimmy?
Jimmy.
We saw that today.
Aaron Rodgers or Jimmy?
Rodgers.
Jalen Hurts or Jimmy?
Hurts.
I think that's everybody. I think that's the entire league. Wait a second. Is that
Tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, Kenny Pickett or Jimmy?
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Matt Ryan or Jimmy?
Jimmy.
So Jimmy's in the top 10 there.
basically,
That's disturbing.
Jimmy's like
He's about 7th or something. How many
we can
people
basically say
do we
it.
count?
It's Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes,
Brady.
Justin Herbert.
Oh.
We never went with Marcus Mariota. What do you
Jordan
think?
Love? I don't know.
Joe Burrow.
Burrow and Brady. That's 6.
Brady, Lamar.
I got him 7.
Lamar.
You said no to Russell. I said Cousins.
Yeah.
He's top 10. He's
7.
top 10.
That's 7. No, Josh
7
Allen.
or
That's
8.
8. Josh
so
Allen.
He's a top 10
He's a
quarterback
top 10 quarterback.
according to what you would have.
And
on
in
your
the
team.
Right
the
now, he's
kinda
a top 10
crazy,
quarterback.
The kind of crazy thing is,
And
like,
if he's
it's
not
even-
top 10, if you want to be hyper negative, he's
12.
He's top 15.
he's top
Yeah.
15.
He's in the
And-
top half of the league.
And like, honestly, I like the way Clarence Breeks framed it, because I feel like last year the quarterback play was so much better. Like, I feel like there's so many bad quarterbacks playing this year. Like, even guys we thought were good are now kind of cooked, or like we found out something about their personality, or like there's injuries or sexual assault, and it's like all of a sudden it's like shit. Like,
Hey, BCast 12, name 10 quarterbacks in the chat that you would take over Jimmy right now. Go ahead. Just
You're talking to a person in the chat, Dan. He can't.
yeah. Well, he can write them in. He can write
I
them
know.
in the
You're
chat.
like, go ahead, make
Go ahead,
my
write
day.
them in the chat. Put
Go ahead.
Put your
Go
10
ahead.
quarterbacks that are above Jimmy this
You
year.
think you know so much?
Right
Type it in there.
you think you're better than Jimmy?
You think you better type in 10 names?
Yeah, 10 names. I want to see 10
Start
names.
typing.
Hey, 10.
I want to see those
Give me
fingers
10
flying.
names.
Mr. BMW Lotus, he says, "F that, I want Purdy." All right.
You know,
think that's
whatever
somehow
the guy
ripping on
says.
me.
I got somebody. You want to mess with me? I'll mess with you.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were, you came to dinner on a Sunday night.
That's right. That's right.
Permaculture. Hurts almost died tonight from taking hits, and we're in game 12. Mobile quarterbacks are not the whole answer. I totally agree with permaculture.
True.
Look at Fields.
Yeah.
He got his mouthpiece went flying. and he got
Danny was
hit in
trying
the
to
side.
trade him last week. Couldn't trade him. Why? Because he's hurt.
No, he gave me 30
Oh.
points tonight.
Hurts?
Yeah, he's
No.
hurt.
I meant Fields.
Fields.
He messed my plan up.
Yeah.
I
Wait. You know what, guys? How about this? Because I was like, I do have to go to the restroom, but I really want to play the interview that we did after the game, our post locker room interview with T.Y.
let's do it.
McGill.
You want to play right here?
Yeah, it's super.
With
It's
who?
super good vibes.
With who?
T.Y. McGill.
T.Y. McGill.
And
See,
it's
T.Y.
cool because
squad guy?
he's like a 10-year like vet, so like he's been all around. Had just such glowing reviews of like the Niners locker room.
Yeah, he was great. He was great to talk to.
All right, we're here in the Niner locker room with
You ready?
Fire.
T.Y. McGill. Guys got a nice win today, and you got a nice tackle for a loss. Tell us a little bit about the effort.
Oh, man, I mean, great dub, first and foremost. Needed that. I just got to keep stacking. I mean, but on the effort part, man, especially from the defense, but this whole team, this whole team is built off effort. Effort, competing, like hard-nosed, love it. Coach Shanahan has a great group in terms of the culture here. Love it. It's easy to come and give everything you got on a team like this.
I love the way you're flying around, man. You got a room full of guys who are doing the same. I mean, when you're watching the way this group plays, it's like a culture.
Right.
You walked right in and just adapted.
And that's basically what I'm saying earlier. Like, it's like when you get here, you get to the practices, you see how these guys are practicing, fast practicing. Like, you have no choice but to fit in. If you don't fit in, then you won't be here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a culture. It's like you want to fit in. It's not like, oh, man, they're going so hard. Like, why? No. Like, there's no question. You get in there and you work, and this is a great opportunity for me, and I'm just happy to be here.
Hey, D'Amico, I don't know if you emphasize this, but it's not often you get 2 fumbles out of Kamara. But what I like is I'm watching the game in the box on the Binocs, and first guy gets to the ball carrier, next guy's coming, and he's punching the ball out, and it's like that's every play.
Right.
And
Right.
2 came free today. Is
Right.
that a point of emphasis in practice?
That's the culture. That's defense
culture.
is built off that.
Yeah.
When you see that type of effort, that type of work, that's culture.
Yeah.
That's what we're being coached. That's how this group of guys work. And it's not just from the coaches. Like, our teammates, expect that out of us. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy Ward, Fred, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the standard here. And it's just amazing to be a part of.
Yeah, this is a talented defense. A lot of people thought this was going to be a letdown game. You guys were on the road, Colorado Springs, Mexico City. You got the Dolphins next week. Was that at all talked about going into this one? Like, maybe there might be a letdown?
It's not an excuse, nothing. I've been in the league 8 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Been on 8 or 9 teams. So I have stuff that I can compare it to, right?
Yeah.
And this organization, this group of guys, this coaching staff, there's no excuses. It's like every day from Monday to the last practice on Saturday, it's everything. Everything you got mentally, physically, it's the proof is in the pudding, you know what I'm saying? The way you work here, you have to come in and work, and that's what I love about it.
One of the things I'm loving that Chris is doing up front is he's going with that 4D end alignment and the obvious passing downs. And I was mentioning to Drake, he's not getting pushed. Menahue, he's not getting washed out of there. Those guys are standing up against the run as DNs lining up at your position at D tackle.
Right.
You know better than anybody that ain't easy to do.
Right. I mean, just going back, it's the standard, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's no drop off. I mean, as soon as I got here, Chris said, hey, learn the playbook, get ready to go. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I did. And everybody around me, it's the same way. Nobody's trying to, not tell guys what the plays. Like, it's a well-oiled machine, man.
Yeah.
Well-oiled machine.
Guys are playing fast. Guys are playing physical. When you see, Dre, I love watching Dre. He just blows people up. Jimmy, Aziz. I mean, there's a lot of guys. Yeah, there's a lot of guys who are looking to put one on somebody. What's it like playing on defense with guys who are flying around?
Wait, did you hear that?
Yeah, what was that?
I didn't see who that was, but it was one of the guys came up and he like messed with my back and was like, oh my God, it's T.Y.
That's what the plays like. It's a well-oiled machine, man.
Yeah.
Well-oiled machine.
Guys are playing fast. Guys are playing physical. When you see, Dre, I love watching Dre. He just blows people up. Jimmy, Aziz. I mean, there's a lot of guys. Yeah, there's a lot of guys who are looking to put one on somebody. What's it like playing on defense with guys who are flying around making plays?
Those guys in the back end make it easy for me to do my job. The only thing I got to do is get off attack and then let things happen. But I know the guys behind me, they're going to come clean everything up. So it makes my job easier.
How will you celebrate a win like this? I mean, you got family in town?
Man, me personally?
What will you do?
Me personally?
Go hit dinner? Or?
I got dinner from the team, so I'm going back to my room. I'm just hanging out, man. My family's back on the East Coast, so I'm just chilling, man.
Yeah. How many snaps you get tonight?
Don't even know. We got the dub.
Yeah, you got the dub.
Yeah.
Do you? I mean, coming off of this point in the year, most guys probably feeling the pain of this point. I mean, 10, 12, 13 games into a season, guys start feeling it. How would you say the relative health of this team right now?
I mean, health is good. I mean, that's the difference. You know, once you get to November, teams either doing this or they're doing this, and that's the main focus is the body. Just being able to recover. I mean, we just played in Mexico. We changed 3 time zones in less than 24 hours last week, on top of being in Colorado Springs for a whole week. And guys just come back and answer the bell every time. It's not a day that guys in here are complaining about going to practice.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Who sets the culture in here? Is it the coaches, the players? Is there a player or two that you think sets the tone?
I mean, this is definitely a player-driven team, but the coaches just coach and the players play. I mean, defense is driven by Fred. You know, like in terms of, you know, Mike linebacker, he's the leader of the defense, but everybody else that comes in, you know, they make their sound known too. So, I mean, we just feed off each other, man. And I'm just a guy, just a squirrel out here playing. You know what I'm saying? Just being able.
By the way, I totally caught that. I forgot to ask about that after. He totally was trying to say, I'm just a squirrel out here trying to get a nut. And then he totally like pivoted off it and just said something else. Wait, I got it.
Then, you know, they make their sound known too. So, I mean, we just feed off each other, man. And I'm just a guy, just a squirrel out here playing. You know what I'm saying? Just being able to be with these guys and contribute is amazing for me because, one, I love this style of defense and I love this style of play. Like, it's infectious, you know, hit and run and hit.
Well, you know, a lot of people say this is a perfect defense for D linemen because Chris just wants you to get up the field and play the run on the way to the quarterback. Is that pretty much describe what you guys are trying to get done?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think it's more controlled chaos. You know what I'm saying? Is you line up, you know where you line up, and you attack that spot. But we still play the run. If you notice, it's not just ripping gaps and causing seams. We're attacking, we're playing our man, and we're Xing off blocks to make plays. Like, it's not just run up the field, you know what I mean? So, I mean, it's good. Going back, man, great coach. Great coach.
One of the key factors when you're playing mobile quarterbacks, and next week, too, a pretty mobile quarterback, you don't want to give them a lane, a big lane. So it's about a coordinated rush. And how hard is that to do when you guys are playing games up front? Because one of the things I love about the D-line is that Chris is playing a lot of games. I mean, he TE stunts, ET stunts, guys shooting from everywhere, nickel slot blitzes, all kinds of. But as far as staying in your lanes and not giving that quarterback the obvious run lane, that's got to be a point of emphasis.
I mean, that just comes down to just basically doing your job.
Yeah.
Once the ball is snapped, you know you got to go, so get there fast. And once you get there, there's always somebody else coming. Even though it might not look like it, but somebody else is coming to, replace you once you go to your spot. That's just how everything's designed. But,
Yeah, last one for you. You mentioned you've been in this league, so you know the difference. You've been on a bunch of different teams.
Right.
How would you compare this culture that you have here with what you've seen around the league? How's it different?
I mean, just going back to what I said earlier, man, guys believe and guys come to work every day. There's no complaining here. And that was something that surprised me is that, usually guys kind of mope around, we got to go to practice. You know what I'm saying?
Dragging themselves through it.
That's not it. Like, it's infectious. It's like you can't be a guy here and not want to practice. Like, everybody loves to practice here. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, hey, man, congrats on the win. Thanks for giving us a few minutes.
Yeah, no doubt.
That was awesome.
Yeah, there you go,
excellent.
T.Y. McGill. And, he had a lot of interesting things to say. I think and also I thought one of the things that was really interesting, guys, is just what he didn't say, which was, here's a guy, grown man, trying to provide for his family, and this is what the NFL is. It's made up of T.Y. McGills. Here's a guy whose family's on the East Coast. He's staying at a He's probably staying at the Santa Clara Marriott or something.
Yeah.
Santa Clara Hilton.
Someone said
tonight.
Someone said Ty is probably staying at the Hilton, and I thought they were making like a Ty Hilton joke.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, here's a guy who's he's staying in a hotel on the other side of the country from his family to provide for his family, and it just goes to show that it's like not every guy.
It's not glitz and glamour for a lot of these.
Yeah,
guys.
I mean, it's not glitz and glamour, and it's not. It's not everybody's is bed is not totally made, and that's the one thing about the NFL that's really interesting is that guys are flying around. And why are they flying around? Because money's on the table, and you got to take it, and you got to be aggressive. And
well,
that
who's more
means
valuable, Larry, to that team as a defensive lineman? A young, little more inexperienced Javon Kinlaw or T.Y. McGill?
Who's more valuable?
Yeah, in playing snaps. I mean, who's going to do do their role? Because I don't see Kinlaw, if he comes back, being an every down, guy. I mean, one of the main guys. I see him probably spot playing. So who would you rather have? Somebody that has been around the league for 7-8 years?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would say that Kinlaw has got, freakish strength. And so anytime you have somebody who has a freakish trait like that, you want that guy. You want that guy because he has to be double teamed. You have to double team Javon Kinlaw because he's just so strong. Otherwise, he's just going to live in your backfield. So I love the T.Y. McGill effort, and T.Y. is definitely quicker. I think T.Y. comes off blocks. He reads the plays better. There's so many aspects of the game, Danny, where T.Y. is superior to Kinlaw, but Kinlaw's freakish strength and size mean that he has to be accounted for on every snap. So I guess I'd still go with Kinlaw.
Yeah. What's the word on Kinlaw? Any updates?
Well, I mean, the thing about Kinlaw is he's got long levers, long legs, and so he exposes his knees to a lot of contact, and he's just a hard time staying on the field because he takes hits to his knees because he loses leverage. His game is about leverage. His health is about maintaining leverage, and he just struggles with it. I haven't heard anything new. Rye, have you heard anything new on Javon? I think they are hoping to get, at least a couple more weeks down this road before they have to make a decision. But I think they're holding out hope that he can return at least for some run, probably at the end of the year or in the playoffs. I don't think he's out for the year. They haven't announced he's out for the year yet.
So I asked BCast to come up with 10 names, and here's his quarterbacks. I'll give you the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The rest are questionable. You get to Dak and Cousins and Tua and Geno and Carr and Stafford and Fields, it's a crapshoot.
Well,
over Jimmy.
No, I mean, I get what he's saying. I mean, for me, it's sort of like, there's a tier, and like of the guys that are around Jimmy in that tier, I would go with Jimmy over them just because I've seen him in this offense and he's familiar with the guys. If we're doing,
and also, right? I mean, Jimmy's taking care of the ball right now.
Yeah,
that's his bugaboo. If he takes care of the ball, he's a much better quarterback.
Right. Yeah. He's not throwing those floaters, although he threw the one that got picked today. But on TV, I can't remember. I wish I can go back and look at it. When you go back and look at it, they said something about one of the players did something on the route that may have crossed Jimmy up. So maybe you could check that out.
I didn't see that. Did you guys see what Mostert said about Jimmy?
Yeah.
What the hell, man?
Mostert's kind of burying Jimmy.
Yeah.
I feel like Mostert's just butthurt. He didn't get paid, and now Jeff Wilson's there, and Jeff Wilson's already taken a bunch
their
of his
number
carries.
one.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, he's their number one now, Wilson.
Here's the question I would have. We were talking about, what are some debate topics and this and that. I think one of the topics that, I think is going to come up in the next day or two is, and at least it should, is do the Niners deserve a little criticism for trading Jeff Wilson? And now they need another back.
Well, they got Tevin
McCaffrey's
Coleman as
dinged
well.
up.
They've got Tevin Coleman
Mitchell's
on the practice
dinged up.
squad.
Who do they got?
Tevin Coleman's on the practice squad.
Okay, so maybe is Tevin Coleman good enough?
I think so for a few weeks.
Okay, so you got Tevin and you got Jordan Mason. I'd like to see them use JP Mason a little bit.
I think you're going to see CMC and Mason take the, Mitchell's kind of spot to grind the yards and take the bruising hits up the tackle, between the tackles. And even, Coleman's, he's a pretty big guy, actually. You think of Tevin Coleman as a small little scat back, but he's actually can take
Who picked up
some
Melvin
pounding.
Gordon? Will the Niners go after Melvin Gordon?
Oh, he's available, but I don't know with those fumbles. Kyle hates fumble. I mean, who doesn't, as I said before, but I mean,
I'm the head coach that loves fumbles.
yeah, but I mean, taking even a chance on a guy that has a fumbling problem, I can't see Kyle wanting to do that. But he loves
Ray McLeod.
Denver. He loves, Ray.
I mean, Melvin Gordon in some ways could look intriguing in this.
Actually, he
absolutely.
could. If he can hold on to the ball, Melvin Gordon would be a really good pickup now.
I mean, don't you think they have to go get another back now?
Dan, do you still have Melvin Gordon on your bench?
No, he's free, floating out there in fantasy waiver land.
Do you think they'll go get another? What? Oh, someone says Ty Davis Price here. Kevin F.
Forgot about that.
Forgot about Ty Davis Price.
It depends. It's going to depend on the severity of
Eric Hill says bring in Melvin Gordon.
I would have preferred, but Jacksonville picked him up. I would have preferred Darrell Henderson.
I know I would have too. What is Jacksonville going to cut Jermichael Hasty?
He played today, the main guy, because ETN went out.
Oh, so that's why they got all those extra backs.
Yeah.
I also saw Breida play this weekend. Did you guys see Breida playing for? Was it New York?
Yeah. Maybe
Hey,
we
Ryan,
trade for.
You want to get that?
Yeah.
I don't want to do it at the same time.
Maybe we trade. Maybe we trade for Trey Sermon.
There's no trades now.
Yeah, I'm joking.
Yeah. Trey Sermon, is he stuck
the way Danny said that? So much. There's such sorrow in his voice. There's no trades now.
Hey, yeah. Did you see my text last night at 1 a.m?
Yeah, I actually had a really good idea for waivers for our fantasy league. What do you think of this, Danny? See if we can understand this one. You want to make a trade after the trade deadline, okay? You want to trade. Name a player on your team.
David Montgomery.
David Montgomery. You say to the league, I would like to trade David Montgomery. David Montgomery goes into our trade portal. Everybody then knows you're putting him through waivers, okay? Everybody has a certain amount of time to make you an offer, right?
Right.
They have to offer the highest rated player they can to you. You can choose to take any one player from that's being offered to you for your player. But the rule is that if you don't choose any of them, you get the highest rated player that somebody put in as an offer, and that player is traded no matter what.
It's kind of like the baseball, how they do it after the trade.
So in other words, if you decide you want to make a trade after the trade deadline, you can try it, but that player is going to be leaving your roster for the best offer you can get, or whatever offer you take.
I have no problem with that, but I think.
But then you can't pull him back.
Now I'm going to get
non-revocable. So you can't sit there and say, "Hey, I'm going to trade this guy. Oh, I didn't like my offer, so I'm taking him back." No. You have to either pick one of the players that's being offered to you, or you get the highest rated player.
That goes for everybody. The problem is we got about 7 guys in the GMs that they never work the phone lines. They don't answer texts. They don't answer emails. When I put in trade requests,
they're lazy.
They're lazy. We got 7 GMs that are lazy.
The Krueg show's got a bunch of lazy GMs.
Got lazy GMs. I only got
lazy
MF answers. Some guys they don't even counter. They just reject.
I saw MF the other day blowing smoke up Dieter's ass. Oh Dieter! Yeah, to listen to you talk Niners is just a magical experience.
Sports fan.
I got a kick out of that. Sports fan. Dan's cool. Look at that. Dan's cool.
I like sports fan.
No apostrophe S. Just Dan's cool.
Yeah, come on, you guys in the fantasy league.
Leave him alone. He's an OG.
If a
Wait, who's picking
GM
on you? Someone
reaches
picking on
out
Danny?
and makes a trade request, the rules are you're supposed to answer within 48 hours. I mean, golly, I have to cancel my trades because
don't you kids ever answer the phone?
because I've got other deals I'm trying to work. And
Well, what's Kyle saying here? Kyle says, I'd take me first, Gary Radnich second, Larry third, Ryan and Dan tied for fourth.
I don't know. I was trying to figure that out.
Can we trace that back and figure out what the hell he's talking about?
I think that's just in places. I think maybe if we were all competing in the World Cup.
Hey,
Maybe he's talking about flopping. Maybe he's talking about flopping. Who's the best flopper?
World Cup. I think I'd rather watch, hummingbirds out of a feeder, trying to then watch a
Danny's ripping soccer now.
0-0 draw. I mean, crap.
0-0, Danny. 0-0.
Whatever you want. They call it a draw, I guess, too. I call it a boring day at the office.
Dan, I call it a result, and I call it me cashing money because I bet on the tie.
Oh, Danny, did you make any wagers today, by the way? I asked because I won mine.
I did not. How you doing in your fantasy matchup with Rye? It looks like it's going to. I hear Pat Fryermouth just called in and says he's not going to show up tomorrow because he doesn't like you, Larry.
Really? Well, that's all right because I could probably go. I'm such a good fantasy owner that I've got such a stacked roster. I could probably.
Who are you going to move in at tight end? I think
I am winning here. 101.28. I've got a commanding lead. 101.28 to 95.56. So unless Rye acquires people that have already played and have high point totals, I think I'm going to do all right, Dan.
I don't think so because look at Rye, he's got.
Still cooking for Cole Kmet that I don't know about?
Rye's got 2 guys tomorrow, and you have 1.
Yeah, but I got Fryermuth, and he's got Alec Pierce. Or no, he's got Michael Pittman and Indy's defense.
Okay. Realistically, this is what it is. I'm down like 6 points, so realistically, Indy's D will get about 6 points. So it's going to come down to Fryermuth versus Pittman, and Pittman has been laying eggs left and right lately. but I do have big hopes for him tomorrow.
Did you make a roster mistake? Let me see. Who did?
I definitely did because I put Bijan Robinson, Dijon Mustard.
I didn't start Christian Watson. Got it.
I also made 2 lineup mistakes. I did not start DJ Moore. He got 18 points. I didn't start Traylon Burks. Burks got 15.
Oh, and hey, I was supposed to have Burks on my fantasy, but you picked him up on the waiver wire. Why did you get him first? Oh, you have a higher list because you're behind me.
Okay, sports fan is saying we got to get the
drop into 10th place, Larry. I think Rye's going to pull it out tomorrow night.
Pull it out of my bum.
Wait a second.
Rye could run the table. He's got a gimme at the last game of the season. He played.
Danny, we have exactly the same record.
Yeah, but he's got points on you.
In all seriousness, U.S. versus Iran is going to be pretty stressful. I feel like the U.S. is going to lose.
Hey, the
when's
U.S.
that? Is that tomorrow?
That's Tuesday.
Sorry about that.
It could get pretty interesting.
12 says, let's talk Warriors.
Yeah, Warriors played great today. They just blew out Minnesota. They were up 20 at the half, 20 by the third quarter. Minnesota
they put up 47 in the first quarter.
Yeah. Minnesota made a run in the fourth, cut it to 10, and then all of a sudden Clay
47-27 Warriors after 1.
Yeah, Clay was hit a couple of heat checks, and Curry hit one, and it was like boom. Back to 19 real quick, and it was over. So Warriors are 11-10.
Wait, Dan, I don't know if you were watching the game, but
I was watching a little both. Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't watch any of the game, but like people in the chat were saying, I saw on Twitter that Draymond was playing in the second unit a lot with.
He's playing. That's Kerr's new thing.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
last 3 games. Green is playing with the second unit.
He scored 19
so that's
points
helping the
today.
second unit. They're just trying to maximize the second unit possessions.
Oh, yeah. And Kuminga is now solidified. Kuminga's now solidified his spot in the rotation.
So do you think that Draymond's gonna like ultimately end up starting with the second unit and just finishing with the starters?
Well, he does in the second quarter. He starts the second quarter with the second unit, and then
Okay. Well,
and
that's a
then
really
the
good
fourth.
adjustment that yeah, I mean, that's
He's also
a
out
great
there
adjustment.
with a little bit with Wiggins as well.
Well, because
So
they
they're
need it. I mean, they need
and
somebody to
Poole.
direct traffic out there. They need
Yes.
somebody to, kind of have a little bit of direction out there. I
I
mean,
think there's
I also think he would, I think he's Draymond Green has, absolutely set up Steph Curry perfectly. We think of Jordan Poole as like, okay, now you're the center of the offensive effort on the second unit. But you know what? It always helps if you can have a guy who kind of sets you up. And now Draymond can set up Poole a little bit. Poole had
oh yeah,
24 tonight.
they're starting to put it together, and you can see the cohesiveness. The units they're starting to click
I mean,
defensively.
this is what Draymond, I feel like, was like we were kind of talking about this at the
He had
beginning
11
of the year.
assists tonight.
Like
Yeah, 19 points.
he's probably more valuable on the bench, just at least during the regular season, just to stabilize it. And
He got a tee today too that was a joke. Jordan
a
Poole
joke.
drove to the hoop and kind of did one of those quick scoop shots.
Yeah.
And Draymond was imitating the scoop shot down on the bench, but he was a little bit in the corner of the court. And they teed him up for being, and he was like, come on. I mean, that's ridiculous. Bob Fitzgerald was saying the spirit of the rule, hopefully that whoever the guy that sees those tees maybe overrules it, because that's a joke. He was actually celebrating. He was just having fun. It was just
maybe he thought he was being passive aggressive because of the punch.
There's a lot of talk that the Warriors want Jay Crowder. There's a lot of talk that Crowder's going to get moved in a multiple team trade.
Yeah, 4 or 5 team maybe.
And the team that's really kind of interesting to watch. I mean, one is Gold. I don't think Golden State's going to move Green, but I
don't
get
see
the
that at
sense
all.
they're going to move some of these young guys, and I don't know if it's going to be Kuminga or
Nope.
Moody or Wiseman.
I don't think it's Wiseman, and I don't think it's Kuminga. I could possibly see them maybe moving a Moody if they got in a deal, but I think they may just hold pat for quite a while, unless they want Crowder, and Crowder's ready to play, obviously.
Well, it's interesting because Atlanta is one of the teams that has interest in making a trade, but Phoenix doesn't want John Collins. But there's a lot of talk about Bogdan Bogdanović. I do know the Warriors like Bogdan Bogdanović.
Yeah, I don't know if they want to get bogged down with him, though, really.
You don't want to get bogged down with Bogdan.
Ovich.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to get Cy back on here, man. I want to have it out with Cy. He's really down on. He calls Anthony Lamb chop. He's like really upset on Twitter world. Why is Lamb Chop getting minutes over Moody? I want to see Moody.
When you're going to name calling, that's not good.
I like Anthony Lamb. I think he gives valuable minutes.
He's a borderline NBA athlete.
Yeah. Is he going to light up the scoreboard or the stat sheet? No, but he plays. I would love to see the stat on his plus minus minutes, because I bet you they're positive, just because when he's in there, he's doing the right things.
I do agree with him though. Like, what the hell is up with Moody? Like, Moody just seems to me like the most ready of those three youngins, and he kind of just plays the game the right way and all this stuff.
Cy did put something out there, video of Kerr talking to Kuminga after the game, and said something to the effect that Kerr was apologizing to him for basically not playing him. I don't know if was tongue in cheek or if it was really real.
I heard he was just encouraging him. Yeah.
Yeah. So
the problem with Kuminga is that Kuminga's a undersized inside player. And they have they got a lot of, he's a small ball 5 is really what he is. So it's like, he doesn't fit with every configuration of players. It's like, I don't know that you can play a Kuminga and Wiseman together. At any point. It's going to be interesting to see if they show patience with Wiseman and Kuminga and Moody, or
is that supposed to be Melvin?
I just don't. What I don't
No, that's
get for the
JP
Warriors
Mason.
is
Oh, is
why
it?
does it
Oh,
really
okay.
matter if the Warriors are the 3 seed, the 5 seed, or the 8 seed? Isn't it matter more that they get Moody and Kuminga and Wiseman like into some form of their rotation? And the fact that they can't get any minutes for Wiseman, have to send him to the G League, can't get any consistent run really for Moody. Kuminga, seemingly is in and out of the doghouse. I don't know. It's weird that they're prioritizing winning games in an NBA season where you're gonna make the playoffs no matter what. And it's like, yeah, okay, let's say you win a bunch of games. It's like, if you said to me the Warriors won 45 games, I still have to know who's in their rotation, how are they looking. If you told me they won 55 games, I still need to know who's in their playoff rotation, how are they looking. I don't think they can get it done this year without either using Moody, Wiseman, and Kuminga or trading them for a rotation piece that they do use. I don't think they're going to win with, 7 guys under 22 and 5 of the 7 have no real meaningful role on the team. Do you guys?
Yeah,
I mean, I love the idea concept of the 2 timelines, but they're not going. It won't work. It's like the young guys haven't grown up fast enough. They haven't shown that they're going to commit to giving them minutes to develop them. There's not enough G League run for everybody. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like they have to get either good minutes out of that trio or assets back that give them good minutes, or they're going nowhere. Do you guys agree or no?
I think what's happening, Larry, I really think that the Warriors are playing it smart right now. I think Kuminga has earned his spot. I think playing Wiseman, getting him time in the G League, getting him lots of minutes, whether it's he's played 5 games now. They said 10 games, whether it's 10 games or 15 or 20 he plays down there. I'm not worried about having Wiseman until really till he's good and ready to go. And if that's in January, fine. But get him what he needs. And, when Wiseman does come back, you're really only looking for 12 to 15 minutes of good, solid play where he's out there and he keeps you, even if he's not even plus if he's just level, if he keeps the score, because the first unit is starting to put teams away, being up 5, 10, 15 points. The first unit, I believe, I haven't looked at it recently, but aren't they still number 1? They're starting 5 in point differential in the league. I have no idea. Yeah. I mean, they were 2 weeks ago, they were number 1 and they haven't really done anything to change that. So today, what we saw was them going up by, big in the first quarter and then maintaining that 20-point lead. And then
they've caught a little bit of a rhythm.
Yeah. So, and I think, it's interesting because Minnesota was ahead of them. So was Utah the other night ahead of them. They're catching up. Minnesota, they're now ahead of Minnesota. They're actually 1 game. They're 3 games out of first and 1 out of the 4th seed and 1.5 out of the second. So this is such a long way to go. They're 11-10, 21 games. So they're basically a quarter of the way through the season. I think at the 50% mark of the season, 40, 41 games in, I'll bet you they're in the top 5.
Senior softball game says no hoop talk until May.
Yeah.
When do you think we're actually going to see Farhan and the Giants actually do something?
I think it's coming.
It's coming
before the winter meetings are December 4th through the 7th. Okay. I think Judge makes a decision either right before the winter meetings or during the winter meetings. And I don't know where he makes that decision, but I believe that his decision is coming within 10 days. So, and if the Giants land him According to John Heyman, he believes that a decision, will be coming, during the winter meetings or right after. He doesn't see this dragging into February, So
Kevin F says if Farhan doesn't land Judge, he's got to go. What do you think the reaction of the fan base will be if the Giants strike out on Judge? Does it matter? Do the details matter at all?
Yes.
Or is it just they do matter?
Yeah. If they need to make a significant, we've talked about it, Larry, for the last
I think they need to
month
be
or
the
two.
high bidder.
Yeah, they need to be the high bidder. Don't come in with some low creative deal where, Judge was offered supposedly 337, and I think it was 9 years with the Yankees. Don't come in with some 5-year deal worth, a little higher annual salary. Whatever happened in that meeting with the Giants, Judge and his agent, they have an idea what he's looking for. If don't try and lowball it. If anything, if I'm a this is what I would do. I always want to under promise and over deliver.
Yeah.
I come in with a little bit higher than what they're even asking. Well, maybe $1 million or $2 million. Just say, hey, look, you wanted 9 years at 350. We're going to give you 360.
White
whatever.
Sox today signed Mike Clevenger. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
1 year, $8 million.
But by the way, just to go back real quick before we go or move on to baseball or whatever, 49ers, I'm looking at Curry's advanced numbers on dunks and threes, and they're just so shocking this year.
How many dunks does he have?
Oh, no.
I'm kidding.
He's shooting 74% at the rim, 52% on mid-range right now, 44 from three. His estimated plus minus, which is like the best stat out there as far as advanced stats, is 9.4, and the second place is Luka at like 7.2. So he's like this would be his highest year except for 2016.
Yeah, but he's like fifth according to their bozo media MVP race right now.
Oh, I know.
It's like, what a joke.
Jesus.
We kind of talked before a little bit about Judge and the Giants and the whole they're elated and what that really means. And I mean, I don't. Does anybody want to weigh in on that? As far as is that spin? What's elated? What does elated mean? As far as
you want me to ask, do you want me to ask Alexa?
Yeah, what's your interpretation of elated?
Hold on.
I mean, why would the Giants be elated? Isn't that the kind of word that suggests that he's coming here? The only reason you're talking to him to begin with is because you're trying to attract him to come here as a free agent. If you have this dialogue and then describe your reaction to the encounter as elated, doesn't that send out the message that things went well and that you're going to be able to sign said player? Or am I missing something here? Can you be, could you ask a girl on a date, have her say, you know what, get the fuck out of here. And you could leave there and go, you know what? I was elated with her response. I asked her on the date and she gave me an answer and I was elated by what she answered. How could that answer be get the fuck out of here? Right?
Yeah. Smart.
I mean, is it possible that elated Mike Michio, elated sounds like a great first date. Hopefully the other side feels mutually the same.
Yeah.
Elated?
I mean, you either
related?
You either are think you pretty much gonna get him, or you just have no clue how to read the room.
I mean,
you know what?
Is it safe to say when they contacted the guys who were running the Titanic, and they had already hit the iceberg. If they said, we hit the iceberg and we're elated that we hit the iceberg. Well, I mean, it doesn't fit, right? Because soon they were on the bottom of the North Atlantic. So
like, we're elated that we're elated that we gave it our best shot to miss the iceberg. Although unfortunately we are sinking.
I mean, can you say elated? I mean, don't you think you're going to look like a damn fool on the back end?
No, it sounds like a 12-year-old writing a paper for middle school, and they want to use the word happy, but they want to sound a little older than their age. So they went to the thesaurus and typed in happy and just chose elated.
What's the word that they don't get them? We're dejected. We're devastated. we're speechless.
We're befuddled.
We're mid.
We're mid.
No, but I mean, seriously, how do you release and how do you let it get back out to the fans? This is Farhan Zaidi. You talk huge, you deliver jack. We were elated. Don't tell me you were elated. Go sign the guy.
Sports.
I mean, seriously, how is that going to play when you don't sign him? Well, I don't know about the Giants. They were, Judge is a Yankee. I know the Giants were elated that he stayed at some hotel that they paid for.
He said that you guys have a good shot.
Did he? What were they elated about? He didn't rip on Kapler's manicured beard. I mean,
yeah, it's not you.
Where's what's the source of the elation? Is there any possible source of elation? I mean, the word elation is just it's such a dramatic word. I mean, okay, you met with him. He says to you, you know what? Thank you. I respect you guys immensely. And I'm going to consider all my offers. I'll let you know. Wouldn't you describe that as, hey, we met with him. We continue to be interested. We feel like there was mutual interest. We're moving on. Elated means like you got exactly what you wanted. Right?
Yeah, it was love at first sight. He's signing tomorrow.
I mean, I went to the Niner game today. I was elated that they had chicken nuggets at halftime. I mean, elated.
You know what it is? It's like if you've ever watched like Bachelor or Bachelorette, and it's like the first episode where everyone's showing up in the limousine, and it's like everybody that talks to the Bachelor is like, they cut away to their interview and they're like, oh my God, I'm so happy. I feel like we had an instant connection. Like, that's what it feels like. It feels like, all right, Judge is like, I'm flirting with you here, but I'm also going to go flirt with like 6 other people here. And I'm going to make you feel like you're elated, but I'm not committing to anything.
Oh yeah. You've watched that, whatever those shows are. They all think they're going to be the chosen one, right?
Wild 56 says, here's $2. Breaking news. OBJ kicked off flight from Miami to LA.
Is that true? I read about that. Yeah. It was something
Probably
to do.
Brought the walk to Poland.
Who knows if it's,
Juwan Jennings wouldn't get kicked off that flight.
Yeah. Way too much grit. As long as it was
I'm elated. Down. I'm elated that he was kicked off that flight. We should have asked people. We should have played with elated in the Niner locker room.
Yes.
The Giants say they're elated regarding their meeting with Aaron Judge. Are you elated that you guys just beat the Saints? Yeah, Kevin F. Elated implies it was a perfect meeting. Exactly.
I'm going to need this definition.
Seriously. I mean, elated, is like, hey, my kid's interested in science, and when he happened to stop by my office, there was a lunar eclipse. I mean, I'm elated. Why? Because he got a chance to see a lunar eclipse, and it was just so unlikely. Elated seems like unforeseen joy, right?
Wait. So
let me ask you guys. When was the last time either of you guys were elated?
I've never been elated.
Never?
No.
Danny,
like,
have you ever been elated?
No, probably the last time I was elated was like when I was like maybe
Sure.
like 6 years old, coming down for presents. When like I was old enough to kind of know what presents were, but I
Right.
was dumb enough to think that Santa Claus was real.
Right.
So, I mean, he is real, but yeah, that's
Were
probably
you
about the
elated
last
when you
time.
traded for that tight end who had already scored 19 points that week?
I was. I was elated, and by me saying that, you have no idea what that means. I plead elated. Wait, no, the definition is the definition is ecstatically happy.
Sports fan, nice text. Thank you very much. There we go.
I know.
Sports fan.
I don't want to. Yeah.
It's a family show.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. Does ecstatic?
Farhan is here. We go. Michael says Farhan is elated every Zoom call with Gabe. Do something significant.
Wait. Is okay?
Elated.
It comes from ecstatically happy. Is the word ecstatically? Does that like have to do with ecstasy? Ecstatically.
Right. Exactly. What
like
exactly
you're
can
in,
happen
You're
in
in
this
the
meeting?
happiness of ecstasy.
I mean, you would think that they just already signed him and they're just waiting to announce the deal.
Elated is that they were going to make him an offer, and he said, "You know what? I already bought a house here. Anything you guys offer is fine."
Yeah. You know what? Actually, I'd like to accept that offer.
He already lives in Pacific Heights, and he's going to take any offer we make.
Yeah.
So
whatever
we were elated to find that out.
Whatever we give him, he's going to take 20% less.
You know, elated means, you know what? He told us to go F
Hey,
ourselves,
you know what?
and we're going
You
to
know what?
overpay for
Cy just tweeted 7 minutes ago. Bring him in here. Let's get Cy in here.
He's tweeting.
Debate with
Is he
Cy.
really
7
tweeting?
minutes ago, the Warriors 5-man unit of Steph, Clay, Wiggs, Dre, Looney leads the NBA with a 133.5 offensive rating. The Nuggets' top 5 is a distant second with a rating of 119. The team's starting 5 is dynamic with the bench slowly rounding to form. We should bring Cy in here at 11.
I'll invite him right now. I just sent him an invite.
Wait, give me 1 sec. I gotta run to the little boys' room.
Yeah, by the time you come back, Cy will be in the green room.
There we go. I told him get his ass in here.
That'll be great. I should text him.
I wonder if Cy's elated that the Warriors got such a one-sided victory.
We should go over that with him. Yeah, just start doing the.
Look at this. Romo 2001. Maybe elated means that Judge has an affinity for coconut oil.
I want to get Cy in here and just blast him with the whole.
BCAS says I don't feel elated when my wife makes me sleep on the couch. That's great. Let's use elated in a sentence. Kevin F., didn't you guys say Judge got a Danville real estate agent? Man, you're loving life if you're his real estate agent.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I need to be Judge's financial planner. There he is.
There he is.
Wait for Rye to get in. Rye's coming back.
You read Cy's last tweet.
Okay.
This is our new form. This is the new format of the show. We see who's tweeting, and then we call them, invite them on the show.
Oh, we should have called him out.
5-man unit of Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Dre, Looney leads the NBA with a 133.5 offensive rating. The Nuggets' top 5 is a distant second with a rating of 119. The team's starting 5 is dynamic with the bench slowly rounding to form.
Well, I got to say, I am absolutely elated to have this guy with us, and that is Locked On.
Wearing a San Jose Sharks shirt.
Yeah, baby.
Look at that. We're elated to have you.
Are we on? This is live?
We've been live for 2 hours and 3 minutes.
We're elated to have you.
We've
been playing with the word elated because the Giants say they were elated by their visit with Aaron Judge. And I said elated has to equal he's signing here. You can't be elated and then like, hey, I went on a date. How was it? Oh, I was elated to go on that date. Well, how'd it go? Nothing. She slapped me away, and I was home at 8. No,
Not elated.
That's not elated.
That's not elated.
That might be something else.
I guess it all depends on perspective. Though, really, if you've been like just thumbing through the Papirskis and the Fairchilds, maybe just talking to Aaron Judge makes you elated.
Brian Lucina says, "I'm out, guys. I'll be elated to get some sleep tonight." There you go.
Elated. That is the new word, and we're elated to have
Cy with us.
Cy with us, and we want to hear: is Cy elated about today's Warriors performance?
Of course. That was,
yes.
Of course. That was I think if anything, today's game represented the turnaround of this season. I mean, they were officially back on track. Kuminga's getting real minutes. I mean, how could you not be happy, man? This is good times. Clay's back.
What's been the key, Cy? Is it simply Draymond with that second unit that's made all the difference in the world?
Part of it. I mean, what's Andrew Wiggins alluded in the post game. I don't know who asked the question.
He
but
elated.
Alluded. I'm sorry, I got on my head. Alluded to the team meeting that Draymond led last week as being the turnaround, and I think they lost one game since that meeting. But
did he let everyone punch him in the face and just call it even?
I think that would work.
That would work.
Just helped.
Sorry.
So there you go. And Kuminga played good minutes today. I think he played 20 minutes, and you've seen a change clearly in Kuminga, right? I mean, he's more aggressive.
He's not trying to score as much. He's trying to play within the system.
I guess that's generic talk, but yeah,
well,
sure.
Dan's kind of a generic guy.
Kalena talked about it.
We're elated to have him, though.
Kalena talked about it on the broadcast that he went to dinner with him and told him that, hey, look, you're going to get your 20 points. You're going to be a 20-point scorer in this league, but right now, don't worry about your points. Just play defense, get your rebounds.
Right now, you're going to have to be elated with just the non-flashy stats.
Yeah, you're going to have to be elated with minutes, just getting minutes.
Absolutely.
But you're elated that Green is in that second unit.
I mean, that's playing a huge part in this. How elated am I?
Every word of sentence has elated.
How much?
I mean, it's working. And then I did a show with Rick yesterday, and I'm
elated to hear that. Is he? How's Rick doing?
Rick's good.
Good.
He agreed that the youngsters should be playing more. Look, Kurt played Kuminga 20 minutes today. I think it was 20 minutes total. Was his count?
Right.
He didn't trust him. I mean, DiVincenzo.
You've been tough on Kerr, haven't you?
I think I don't think I've been tough on him. He's a head coach for a pro team. They're all open to criticism, right? So I think it's warranted. It's you have these, like, Moody still needs to play. Moody only got 3 minutes of garbage time today. I'm still waiting on him to be implemented. I'll say this, and look, everyone has their opinion, rightfully so. That's your right, but some people have theories for why Lamb and to a lesser extent Ty Jerome were playing. It was like a motivating tactic to light a fire under these youngsters. Look, if that's the case, great. More power to you, Kerr. Respect. I'd say that would be incredibly, appreciative of him to actually have that amount of foresight to be aware of, playing a two-way player will motivate someone like that. I mean, that's incredible if you can foresee that far ahead in terms of that working. The point is, look, Kuminga played 20. Draymond in the second. Wiggins is also playing with the second unit. But Klay Thompson being back in his game is a huge part of this too, because Klay is staggered as well throughout the game. Like, he doesn't always play with Steph. He's playing with the bench guys also. And, dude, he's back. I mean, he shot 5 for 8 from 3 today. I mean, you can't ignore that. The Splash Brothers, when they're in business, they're virtually unstoppable. So good times are here, man. They're coming back at least. I mean, they are 2-9 on the road, but it was a good step. That was a good step today.
But they're 8-3 since they were 3-7.
Okay,
that sounded really complicated.
Yeah, seriously.
I think the Warriors' record with DiVincenzo.
Well, they're 8-3 in their last 11, so a little better.
But their record with DiVincenzo, I guaranteed, is much in the positive, and he's huge, right? I mean, he's probably one of the most underrated parts of this whole story.
I like him as a rebounder. Really,
he's probably also just elated to be part of this team.
Yeah, maybe. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What did you guys see about the Niners, man? I mean, the offense was kind of a bummer, right? I mean, What do you think?
Well, I mean, they're going up against a pretty good defensive team.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I thought, to be honest, I was kind of expecting. There were several indicators that just said this was going to be the trap game. You got Mike McDaniel rolling in next week. That's obviously a big game for Kyle.
There was booby traps all over the stadium,
and you had the Niners coming off of a trip to Colorado Springs and then Mexico City, and then a short week. You had a Saints team that really needed a win desperately because their season's kind of dangling by a thread. So I kind of expected a little bit of an emotional letdown, kind of a trap game. That, all things being considered, I'll take this effort. I thought the defense played with a lot of swagger, and ultimately Jimmy came really, really close to major mistakes, but didn't make them. Didn't ultimately make them because of the way the game came down. So to me, that's really what it's about. This defense and the offensive weapons and the Niner defense are good enough to beat most teams on their schedule as long as Jimmy doesn't make a boneheaded move. And he didn't in this game. So
who do you blame on that 4th down and 1 where they did the QB draw or whatever the hell that was?
I blame Kyle.
That's a terrible call.
It was a bizarre call.
At the goal line?
From shotgun
when they got stopped?
Yeah, there was a team that did this today and did it well. And I forget who it was. I'm not sure if it was in college or I saw this or pro. But if you're going to have the quarterback run, a quarterback sneak out of the shotgun, you got to have guys behind him to push him.
Dude, it was awful.
And it's a slow developing call. It's a bad one.
Larry, what's going on with you? Why are you wearing like George Costanza's his that big old Gore-Tex thing from Seinfeld? What's going on? Why are you so cold in your house? I'm
not in the house. I'm in my studio. My studio's in the garage.
Oh, you don't have a heater?
Well, I'm not that cold, but it is nighttime in the winter. It is.
I think I'm getting cold watching you, man. You should be in a t-shirt. You should be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Look at Dan right now, man. He's got his.
If you wanted me to, I can go shirtless.
Hey, I'm
Dan's got his human grade dog food. He's got his representative.
Dan's in a 55 and over community where the temperature never dips below 82.
Hey, speaking of Del Boca Vista, Buster, we have a picture of Buster taking a walk tonight.
We have a Buster cam.
Yeah, Ryan's got to pull it up here. We've got a picture of one of the houses ready for Christmas. For Del Boca
celebrating
Vista.
Festivus, by the way. Yes, thank you.
Dude. By the way, and then so Ryan and Dan brought me on, and I joined them for a few minutes. That was a fun bit, you guys. But they mentioned you got your laptop stolen or some crazy thing, and then they told me to wait until you're back to ask for the full story. So, what happened, man? Is your computer gone?
There you go. I really don't want to talk about it too much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
we can talk about it
sour.
No, I just don't want to talk about it. But I'll talk about it privately. I don't want to talk about it on the air, though.
Gotcha. I hear you. Okay.
But yes,
yes. There's a police investigation ongoing.
There has been a police investigation, and right now the neighbor, believe it or not, has surveillance cameras.
The neighbor that you don't get along with?
The neighbor who I don't get along with has surveillance cameras, and we are actually going through the cameras.
Oh, so
yes, if you are the person who owns my old laptop, you will soon be imaged on camera, and the police will be knocking on your door shortly.
You think we will really now discover who Anonymous is?
Yeah, exactly.
You should just send the police over to just steal a few of their prized valuables and just call it even.
Yes. Suspects will be apprehended.
Take the photo of their son from their wallet or something.
Could you imagine if it was Anonymous?
Yeah.
Did you delete your browser history before this thing was stolen? Is there incriminating evidence on there, Larry?
Yeah, there's not really concerned about the browser history.
Okay, good.
This was.
I guess everything's on our phones now, right? Like no one's using the computer anymore for the naughty stuff, right? It's mostly.
My browser is your browser.
Could we have a Hunter Biden situation go on with Larry?
Dan.
Dan's always got to go political from inside the walls of a gated community. You know what I mean? It's easy to be cocky when you're inside of a gated community and there's a 75-year-old woman getting ready to heckle you for your dog walking.
Yeah.
Michael says Willard and Dibbs need to make another trip to Linden this week. Yeah, seriously, get out there to Linden.
What's that about? What do they do?
Carlo P.
They did a show from out there.
From Linden? Just because Aaron Judge is from there?
The laptop with the Brock Purdy wallpaper. Yes.
They realize they work in radio, right? Where like you could just tell the people you went there, but you could really just be in your,
Save
your
the
house.
gas.
Yes, exactly.
Or just go green screen to Linden. That would be awesome. Behind me, what you see is a Circle K in downtown Linden.
Man, Anonymous. I think we're ready to listen to that. Listen to Anonymous. Wow, he's a tough guy. Was that a shot, senior? He's coming.
Pop.
Does it count when you were the only one who laughs at your own stupid joke?
God,
Dan is at the
Anonymous
chuckle
is getting
hut
to Danny. It's getting very personal.
in his head every night. Hey, Anonymous, you're about one more.
Look at Eric. Dan's
about
very
one more
elated to
wise
move to
crack
Linden.
from being booted. I'll boot your ass.
So, Cy, is there? You think Jay Crowder to the Warriors? Is there anything to that or no?
I think all the stuff we were talking about just a week ago with trades and all that speculation's gone. I don't think any trades happening. I think the Warriors roster, what you see right now, is what you're going to get, except that hopefully Moody will start playing and whatever magical elixir Kerr, sprinkled on the Kuminga, hopefully we'll now spread that love to Moses Moody, get him out there. I want to make something very clear. I have nothing against Anthony Lamb. The Lamb Chop has done his job. I think he's an awesome.
Now,
bench
what's
spot.
the Lamb Chop? Is that something
His
new?
nickname. That's Lamb's nickname. And
does he like that nickname? Is he
great
endorsed
question.
it?
I don't know.
Is there a chance if
Linden
word got
right there?
back to you that nickname was bothering him? Would you be elated? Would you eliminate
emotion,
it
man.
from your
Emotional response.
Oh wait, Cy, this really showed Dan's true colors. That Dan's truly a good guy. I
Okay.
asked Dan if
Is that a question?
Wait, well, no. I asked if he would give up his dog to Aaron, or if he would give up Buster. Keep in mind he has two dogs.
Yes.
Give up Buster to Aaron Judge if it meant Aaron Judge could sign and be a San Francisco Giant, and Dan could pick the contract. And Dan said no.
That's a good answer, man. Good
And
job.
it is a good answer, but I did try and sell him on think about this, you're
You
giving
thought
your
about
dog
it, though,
away
for a while.
but to Aaron Judge, all of a sudden your dog's gonna be a celebrity dog. It's gonna be like the dog that brought Judge to town, probably live a great life. And then I said the other option was, would you move to Linden if it meant that you could pick Aaron Judge's
Well, you
contract?
better say yes to that.
And he said yes.
Yeah, you better say yes.
Danny,
to that.
Danny, where Danny's living now, Linden is going to be like an upgrade, probably.
So, exactly. Yeah. Come back to California, man. You had
Seriously,
a good run. And
Danny wants to live where the youth of America live in Linden.
Yeah, I'll be out there at the Cherry Fest, man. You know it.
Whatever that is.
They have the Cherry Fest in Linden.
In April. I'll be there.
Yep.
You darn
In
right I'll be
Linden?
there. Yeah, I love
All right.
cherries.
I bet you if Aaron Judge came to the Giants, that Linden would grow in popularity as a town.
Yeah.
Is
on
that
that alone.
downtown Linden? What I'm looking at, the picture there?
I think I actually
That's
have
uptown. I think that's uptown.
Okay, gotcha.
Wait,
That's Aaron's mom there in the background behind Ryan.
Oh.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. That's Aaron's mom.
Are you serious?
Move to the other way, to your right, Ryan.
How do you know that, Dan?
I've seen her.
Oh, look at Dan's always that creepy guy.
Oh no, she was all over. She was the
Seriously,
on his
I've seen her.
downtown
I've
shoulder.
seen her. Like it's like no, like we're talking about somebody who ran for president last year. I've seen her. Oh yeah, I've seen her. What the fuck does that mean? You've seen her?
I see
What are
her.
you going through the guy's family pictures?
I
she
saw
was
her.
How
I
have
think
you
I've
seen her? Why? And
On
more
her
importantly,
61st
why
home
have
run
you
and
seen her?
62nd home run, she was like the center stage of the.
All right. Okay. All right.
Too much research.
At the
Too
game.
much research, my friend. There's such a thing as
No,
great.
wait a second. No, that's Cattell Marte's second cousin. How do you know that, Larry? I've seen her. Yeah, that's not strange.
Don't worry
I
about
get
it.
hiccups if I laugh, man.
That's Dixon Machado's nephew.
I'm elated
How do you know, Larry?
I'm
I
elated
recognize
at
him.
Ryan's olive green.
I recognize
stain.
Dixon Machado's next door neighbor.
Oh, there's a high school. Okay, Linden High School. All right.
Look at that.
From 2005 or not? 2005 Cal High.
Are those fireplaces, or is that just a lot of brickwork for no reason?
Yeah, what's going on?
I think it's a one giant pizza oven.
What is up with that sign?
I think he probably graduated like in 2000.
I mean, they spent less time making the the pyramids than those things. Look at that. It's like a 40-foot of bricks.
Oh wow! I just found
Leaning tower of bricks in Linden.
Wow, I found a good property in Linden. I'll put it up.
How much?
Yeah, what do we go? What's it going for?
All right.
Yeah,
I'm elated to know that there's property available in Linden.
Maybe I'll buy it. Yeah.
I'm actually legit curious here. What's going on?
I want to see it because
the Giants be elated to announce that Judge is signed with the Dodgers.
Well, I saw Dan post something where he said if the Giants don't get Aaron Judge, you listed like 3 or 4 names, like Correa.
Yeah, Correa.
Will you cut off your pinky?
This isn't Kevin Correa, right? This is another Correa.
Carlos Correa.
Carlos Correa. Okay, so
Dan is elated that he knows Aaron Judge's mom.
But that's not going to really. Is that going to make a difference? Are the Giants really going to be contenders again next year if they get all these scrap heaps instead of the golden prize? I mean, is that going to?
If they get the scrap heaps, they will not be contenders. They'll finish 4th. But if they get Judge, one of the shortstops.
If the Giants totally dominate the free agent market, then maybe they'll have a chance at the playoffs.
Well,
when Danny's saying if they get one of the shortstops, there's like 4 elite shortstops. So if they get the prize of the free agent market in Aaron Judge and get one of the prize 4 shortstops in the free agent market and add multiple pitchers and at least 2 other position players, they got a shot at the playoffs.
Dan, if the Giants get Aaron Judge, you have to buy this property and create your own Field of Dreams in Linden.
Oh my God!
Look at that behind there. Yeah, I could build it. That would be Buster's play yard back there.
If you build it, Judge will come.
Hell
in
yeah,
10 more
dude.
years.
What is that? $7.99 for you? What is it? You get a vineyard?
Looks pretty vineyardy.
I don't know. I don't know if you get the stuff behind you there that I recruit the 49ers
that front yard's looking a little dry.
I know, but you better get all that for that price. For $800,000, it better include that vineyard, all that shit, right? I mean, and then you can build your field.
2 acres. You're only getting 2 acres, so you're not getting that stuff behind. You might.
No, I think you do. Yeah, that makes sense. That's about right for 2 acres.
I had 7. I've had as much as
2 acres.
The
2 acres. That's
I had
probably
15
about
acres.
right.
If you're gonna have a big house, do you want a 1-story house or a 2-story house?
1,
baby.
I want 1.
Look at Danny's older. He's always thinking of the stairs.
You always got to think 1. Hey, even at 35, I want a 1-story. I had a 2-story before, but at 40, I was in a 40. What was I? 45.
Most falls coming the home, Dan. Most falls coming the home.
Oh no!
1 story is the way to go.
Do you have one of those life alert things where if you fall, you press a button?
No, not yet.
Okay, all right.
I can't get up.
I've fallen and
I can't execute this trade.
That's the Giants. We've fallen and we can't get up.
Hey,
we try to sign real players, but all we get is Padlo and Fairchild. We need help. Send somebody soon, please. We're the Giants.
We can't play any Seinfeld stuff on here, can we?
The Giants have fallen and they can't get up.
The Del Boca Vista Seinfeld where Kramer's running for the president.
Oh,
it's hilarious.
Oh, it's the best.
It's the best.
I still think Dan should be.
The calculators.
They think he's embezzling because he doesn't go to the early bird.
Correct.
Awesome. He must be embezzling.
How about we go? They get the one where he's like, they're getting ready to vote, and he's like, "We're gonna pass out all these calculators, the tip ones, the tip calculators."
They're wrong. They tabulated it wrong or something.
They tabulated wrong, and the guy goes, "Vote for the other guy." But that's funny because I ran for the board here, and I'm on this board, and it's kind of like
what kind of budget did you have for your campaign?
My campaign was
Wait, Sai, have you not seen the video of his HOA meetings?
Oh, yeah, I have. But
okay.
Is that what you're talking about?
Look at the hole. Look at the hole.
And is there any talent in your Del Boca Vista? Like, is
at the pool? You
like
mean?
if a bachelor was meandering in your community, and
do you guys allow non-55-year-old people to live there?
If they're,
or do you have to have a certain wrinkled demeanor before you can?
No, you can live if you're under 55. If someone in the home is 55.
There's some 55-year-old talent,
what?
Larry. There's some 55-year-old.
If anybody in the home is over 55, you're in.
People have
what if you move in and they discover there's nobody in your house over 55?
You're kicked out, right?
Are you impeached?
You could.
Are you sent to the border?
Yeah, you could be. Yeah, you could be sent to the, as Christopher Cross says, to the border of Mexico.
There's some 55-year-olds throwing heat. Kelly Ripa is just a few years shy of 55. Like Julie Bowen is almost. I can think of some 55-year-olds like they're.
Sai's got Cougars.com up on his website right now.
I'm just trying to think of the perks of your Del Boca Vista. Like, what can you look forward to?
There's a lot of mature people who live right. There's a lot of mature, right living people there. I'll tell you that. Is it, let's go down to the laundry area and complain about our taxes. Is that what happens?
Play some bingo. Do you guys play bingo?
Are there any activities?
I don't
you play bingo.
I don't know.
Is it a really big deal when a new shop moves in town?
A new shop? Like what? Like
I
Ross?
feel like that's like, I don't know. My grandparents get really into like when there's like, oh my God, did you hear about the even like a Wendy's? Like, oh, did you hear about the Wendy's that are opened up? Oh, have you had that hamburger?
2 more years for Jennifer Aniston. She's 53, I guess.
There you go. See, man, that's what I'm saying, dude.
Dan, you got to turn into the Nick Saban of recruiting for Del Boca Vista.
I'm very content.
Start sending letters to Aniston.
We got Nicholas Sheridan from
very content right
yeah,
now.
but like Saban, he has always like, he has his quarterback, but he usually has a 5-star, sitting behind him.
Look at who just made an appearance. And hey, look at here. Hey, there you go, buddy. What are you doing?
Hey, Buster.
Buddy. Hey.
How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Busty.
Buster, sit.
Buster Rhymes.
And
then what's the other dog's name?
Faith.
Faith. Hey, Faith.
Faith
Hi,
is Faith. When you look in Faith's eyes, it's like in the arms of an angel.
Say hi, Buster.
Sweet dogs,
Buster,
man.
sit, Buster. Show everybody you sit. Okay.
Watch this side. Show Buster self-control. Buster has more self-control than Danny. Go ahead.
Oh, I have to get a treat though.
Yeah, you got to get a treat. Where is it?
I'll be right back with one of those human grade biscuits.
Danny ate this biscuit on the show a few weeks ago.
That's
and then we gave him crap about it. He kept saying it's human grade.
Human grade. Yeah.
Dan Dahmer.
It's because he wouldn't have touched it otherwise. It has to be human grade. The Niners.
So, Sai, who's on Locked On tomorrow?
On the Locked On tip, Kylan Mills joins the program. I think we're gonna go live, man. We'll go 1 p.m.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it. Effing thing sucks. Yeah. So Bill O'Reilly. Yeah. So it'll be 1 p.m. Man. It'll be a good time, and yeah.
Is there now? I mean, what's there to talk about in Warriorland now that things have been kind of solved?
Well, they're not solved. I mean, like for starters, the Warriors are still giving way too many minutes to the veterans right now. They still have to figure out a way to win games without relying on the starting 5 as much as they do. You got to give these guys days off. I mean, they're not spring chickens no mo. And so like Steph needs nights off. Clay obviously doesn't play in the back-to-backs. But with Rick Barry, we were doing the math, and the Warriors lead the NBA in back-to-backs this year with 15. And so Clay's not playing in any of those. So that's 15 days off right there for Clay. So he's going to be a little more fresh for the postseason. If you can follow that similar pattern for Steph, Wiggins, and Draymond Green, and you could win a decent amount of those games,
Half?
then they're going to be fine. But we'll break that down. I was going to have Wiseman trade proposals. I still might.
I know. What about that? Did you look into it? Because from what I went and looked at the different proposals I saw online, they're all terrible.
You know what the player is out there that I think would be the perfect player for the Warriors, and I don't know if they can make it happen, but if they can without giving up the farm,
Indiana's
I think Bam
Turner?
Adebayo would be perfect for this Golden State Warriors team. Like I would trade Draymond Green for him. I don't know if that could happen, but
I don't see them trading Draymond this year.
No, they're not. They're not. But Bam Adebayo, I suddenly decided I was thinking about it. He would be perfect for this team. And
like if the Heat for whatever reason decide to kind of blow it up, maybe it's not going so well.
Exactly.
Need to recoup some picks.
Are we ready for a Buster snack here?
Well, the thing is, you could get creative and like trade a Wiseman, maybe trade if Kerr's not high on Moody, if you could package like a Wiseman, Moody, and someone else that without keep
some
the
lamb
core
chops.
And throw some picks in there and get Bam Adebayo back. Like your future is set, your presence set. Mike,
let's start the rumors.
I know I should just start planting seeds. Oladipo be cast. No, you don't need him. The Warriors don't need Victor Oladipo. He's not even any good anymore. He's washed, right? I mean,
we had terrible quad tendon problems.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, he's I don't see, I was saying, maybe a deal involving who does Nerlens Noel play for?
The Pistons?
Minnesota.
Pistons.
Pistons. I'm sorry. Pistons. Yeah.
I was saying like Sadiq Bey and Nerlens Noel, maybe something like that would be intriguing because at least Noel is the shot blocker and Sadiq Bey's got, Sadiq Bey I think is a good player and they're obviously trying to tank for Wembanyama.
Yeah.
That to me,
I don't think you're going to see a trade for like a Podol. I don't think that trade is off the table. I never thought what's his name from Indiana was going to be realistic.
Turner.
Miles Turner. Yeah, I never thought that was realistic, regardless of whether or not fans think he's a good fit or not. The Warriors are still high on Wiseman. Like Lacob likes Wiseman, and so it's going to take a lot.
How's Wiseman? What are the reports out of the G League? What are you hearing? What did Kevin? I know you talked to Kevin Dana. What's Kevin saying?
I still want to. I first of all want to clear Kevin Dana's name. Like he is not a source for anything I've said recently. I think some people on Twitter were like if Cyrus said something out of Santa Cruz, it must be Kevin Dana. No, it's not. It was not Kevin Dana.
If it comes from Dana, it comes from Cy. If it comes from Cy,
but no. Basically, Wiseman is just one of those things where hopefully more playing time will help. But he did I had two sources tell me that he had a teammate trying to coach him up, offer constructive feedback during a timeout, like regarding his verticality, and Wiseman just rolled his eyes at him and was dismissive and just walked away. And we saw in the regular season that one play was a pick and roll with Steph, where it was a horrible pick and roll. Wiseman did not execute it clearly, and then he got pissed off that Steph didn't feed him the ball in the post. Wiseman got mad at Stephen Curry for not feeding him the ball. So why? And then I brought up last year Drew Hill, a reporter for the Daily Memphian. He covered Wiseman in high school, and he said back in high school Wiseman sort of had a diva attitude. So hopefully there's nothing to this, but we'll see what happens. Wiseman's going to have a long run in the G League. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But
I think he might be down there. I was saying before you came on, I'm fine with him if he just comes back like in January or something.
That's what I'm saying. That's very possible.
Are you saying the attitude's not good? Because BCast 12 says there's a new report that says that Wiseman's attitude sucks right now. Is that
nobody knows that? I don't buy that. I don't buy it.
I want to know where the report's from. I mean, I would love to. Yeah,
I don't buy that.
I heard the report was from Cyrus via Kevin Dana.
Yeah, I heard Kevin Dana through his mouthpiece on Locked On.
Through his mouthpiece puppet.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to get Buster to eat because Faith's locked up crying because
Faith's locked on Warriors right now. So.
She's locked on Warriors.
Here we go, Buster.
Okay, let's see Buster. I want to see the self-discipline.
Okay, get over here. Buster,
look at that.
Sit.
The way Danny talks to this dog.
Okay. All right. I want
Watch
you to.
This.
Okay, Buster, you leave it there. Okay, leave it.
Look at him. He doesn't even look at it.
Where is the biscuit? Where did it go?
I think he's licking his lips.
Okay, there it is.
Oh, Dan thought that Anonymous was calling him senior, but he's talking to senior softball games, I think.
Oh, okay. Cool. Cool. All right, Buster. Look at Buster. He's not even looking at the biscuit. He's
where's he? He's looking down the hall? Is there a movie going on down there?
Or something?
No, he's
just ignoring the treat.
Oh, he just glanced down at it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna move it a little closer to him.
We get it, man.
No,
not yet. Okay.
No.
When should we make him?
Look at that face. Look at he's licking his lips.
Oh,
he's such a good boy. That is such a good dog.
All right, eat it.
Wait, hey, Larry, you got to say T. I can't say the word, or he'll do it. I'll put it in his ear, and you say it. It's TAKE.
Okay, got it. I got it.
Okay, hold on.
Here we go.
Okay,
that's like when you were like they were like 8-3 since they were 7-3.
Oh yeah, he heard you. He heard you. There you go.
There you go. Good boy. Good boy.
Oh, yo, baba.
Now go crap on the carpet. Crap right there.
Hey.
Take a dump on the carpet.
Let me ask you guys this. This is going to be a topic on tomorrow's show. Who is Steph your early MVP favorite right now? Because Luka Doncic is clearly in the conversation. A lot of people are saying Jason Tatum. But I mean, Steph is putting up historic numbers.
I'm going Tatum, now. Look at the Celtics record. Look at the way the Celtics are playing.
Right,
look at the way Tatum's playing.
But the Warriors are now a game above 500. They're only 3 games back in the Western Conference. Few more wins, and they're in terms of record, they're right there. I mean,
they'll pass Dallas tomorrow if they beat Dallas on Tuesday.
On Tuesday, yeah, correct. Tuesday, yeah. So
Boston's been rolling with a young coach, and Tatum's been balling. I'm going Tatum.
For now, okay.
You think that's fair?
I mean, Giannis, I think, has a good argument too because
Giannis.
Well, Chris Middleton hasn't been playing.
You know what? I'm not even worried about the MVP thing because let him give it to somebody else. Just let Steph walk away with his 5th and shove it in their face.
So that would be amazing.
The GOAT stat EPM. Look how far Curry is even above Luka.
Everybody.
And like every efficiency stat, he's 74% at the rim. That's insane.
It's incredible. He's having his best year. He's still getting better. It's absolutely insane. And I'm telling you, man, Clay's gonna be I really think when we see January, February, and March, Klay Thompson, it's gonna be like 25 a game. Dude, he's just gonna get better too. I think
his shot looks so much better. I mean, not the fact that it's going in, but the arc is back.
Yeah, what's the Warriors' odds right now? If I go into the casino, what am I getting on Golden State to win the title?
Probably like plus 575, I would guess.
So I mean, it might be a good time to get in on Golden State.
I should have done it when they were like 3-10 or 9 or whatever the heck they were, 3-7.
I'm looking that up. Let me see what I can find for futures here. God, it's such a shame. Prop 27 didn't pass, man. Such a shame.
I know.
We could have had access to.
I'm seeing plus 680.
What's wrong with California? Why didn't they pass that?
Because it wasn't marketed.
Yeah,
it wasn't marketed clearly at all. It was just I don't know, man.
There was like Native Americans in commercials on both sides of the prop argument. I was very confused as to which one was the right one to do.
Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is, it would have raised so much money for really important causes. It's but the problem is that there was no investment into passing the thing. And there were way too many groups against it that were just their voices
plus
were loud.
550. They're the Warriors are plus 550. The Celtics
think
are
about
plus
how much it
350.
would help California's economy.
Yes.
Hey, by the way, guys, did you guys see the stat line for Zubac tonight?
No.
You guys didn't see this?
No. What do you do?
The Clippers big man in the game against the Pacers. Clippers win it in 4 quarters, 114-100. Zubac, 31 points, 29 rebounds.
Oh, my goodness.
Incredible.
Zubac?
Did Miles Turner play?
Had a 31 and 29?
Did Miles Turner play?
Yes.
But then do you know how he did against the Warriors just 2 nights earlier? I'm telling you, the Warriors are back, baby. They're back. Zubac against the Warriors had 8 points and 4 rebounds. And then what did he have tonight?
31 and 29.
Tell me, man, the Warriors are back, baby. The Warriors are back.
Hey, yeah, the Warriors, they're only 1.5 games out of the third spot, the third seed behind Memphis.
They're 3 games out of first. They're looking good.
It's just all it's starting to happen what I thought would happen. You know, you're seeing Utah come back to earth. Portland's starting to slip a little bit. I think in the end, you know, I think it's going to be Phoenix. Here's my top 6.
And Dan, before you even say that, just I keep having to tell myself like Boston was 500 at the All-Star break last year.
Yeah. Boston's 16-4. They look like they're on a mission, but I think they're gonna peak too soon.
I'll tell you this, man. December 10th, the Warriors play the Boston Celtics on a Saturday nationally televised game on ABC. That's going to be a big test. That's not far off, man.
That's 2 weeks.
That's going to be a big test because you're right. There's only really 1 or 2 teams. I still think the Grizzlies are legit, man. I'm not going to sleep on them, especially because Jaren Jackson.
Ja had a triple-double today.
Who did? Ja. Yeah, he's incredible. But that team is incredible. But the Celtics have to be right now the litmus test. And Saturday, December 10th, man, that's going to be a big one. We'll because Christmas Day they got the Grizzlies at home. But the Celtics look damn good. Yeah, we'll find out.
Do you think the T-Wolves experiment with Gobert and
awful.
Awful.
Towns.
Dude,
do you think that thing just one of the most overrated
fails?
players I've ever seen in this game, man? I cringe at the fact that dude has 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards and Draymond Green only has 1.
Yeah,
Gobert is so ridiculously overrated, man. Did you see Draymond Green laughing at him today when Gobert hit the court and was on the ground? Draymond's just standing there laughing at him, and it stems from the fact that Gobert complained a few years ago about not being selected to the All-Star game. But Draymond Green has a grudge because he's lost a lot of these Defensive Player of the Year awards, and his reputation as a defensive player is taking a hit because of Gobert, which is absurd. Gobert, the only thing about Gobert that I love is his durability. That's fantastic. He
does have good durability.
That's it, though. But that's it. Other than that,
there was a play where Draymond, the ball went out of bounds, and Gobert smacked Draymond, and it went off. They called it off Draymond, and Draymond was like yelling at the ref, and I heard he goes, "You owe us 2." They got it back inbounds after because Draymond was coming down with the rebound, and he got knocked out. They called it off Draymond, and they scored. And then he goes to the ref, "You owe us 2," and it's like.
All right, guys. Senior softball game says Dub's talk has officially put me to sleep.
I'm sorry.
Good show up to this point. Good night.
I love your booking strategy, by the way, man. Look for who's on Twitter and just reach out. By the way, who's Joe? BCast says the report on Wiseman's attitude was from Joe. Who's Joe? I don't know what that means.
Joe would be a man's name.
Lacob?
Oh.
Let's see if anybody's posted anything in the last few minutes. We can give them a call.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All righty, guys. I love you.
All right, Cy. Good seeing you, bro.
All right.
Hey, Cy. Okay. You
like
even
that.
left the green room. I was going to say we got to wake him up some morning when we're doing our long.
All right, let's do this. Let's play some spots. We'll come back and have our final thoughts after this on the Krueg Show.
Larry Krueger here for Telmetrics. Thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics. If you're an occupational therapist, if you're an orthopedic surgeon, a chiropractor, a physical therapist of any kind, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice and will greatly benefit your patients. Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in the clinical and the telehealth environments. So using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more. So for all your sports injury needs, or if you're a physical rehabilitation specialist of any kind, make sure you use telmetrics.co, TELMETRIX.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman and all the good people at Telmetrics for being a proud sponsor of the Krueg. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Dan Coach Emilio. Dan is a buddy, and he is a phenomenal retirement planning specialist. And you can contact him today at securemoney.com or at his number, 925-628-9966. There's a lot of uncertainty in our world right now, and you want to make sure that your money is secure. That is the key. Danny's got 25 years of experience, born and raised right here in the Bay Area, and he can help you get an immediate 10% premium bonus on your principal retirement account. So give him a call, 925-628-9966. He'll make an appointment with you, and you can sit down. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of a deal. He'll consult with you and come up with a strategy to get you going to where you want to be. Once again, 925-628-9966, securemoney.com on the web. And thanks to Tony Cassera and the good people at Cassera's Italian Menswear. They are housing the Krueg Show t-shirts, and they're a proud sponsor of the show as well. The Krueg Show t-shirt, the Krueg Show podcast t-shirt is available there at their store in Dublin. Their address is 7372 San Ramon Road in Dublin, California. And go see Tony Cassera and get yourself a Krueg Show t-shirt and support the show. And special thanks to our sponsor, New York Style Italian Sausage. That's right, NewYorkStyleSausage.com is their website. Phenomenal product, whether it's the breakfast sausage, the Italian mild, the Italian spicy, the chorizo. You cannot go wrong with New York Style Italian Sausage. Once again, NewYorkStyleSausage.com. Often imitated, never equaled.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were, you came to dinner on a Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday dinner without sausage, it's like a church without God. You know, how can you go to church if you don't believe in God? You know, and along with the sausage also became the discussions. That was discussion night. You know, it wasn't a typical family that you sit there and you're quiet, you know, and you don't talk with a mouthful. Oh no, man. Italians talk when they're eating. Italians even talk when they're sleeping. And definitely we talk with our hands. So if we can't express it through our mouth, through our lips, we express it with our hands. So, and that's what sausage is, really. It's an expression, you know, that life is good.
So New York Style Sausage was started over 70 years ago. We are the largest producer of fresh Italian sausage on the West Coast.
What makes our sausage in New York style is really the recipe came from back east, from New York, you know, from Connecticut.
If you look at all of our labels, there's maximum 4 or 5 ingredients, which we're really proud of.
There's no preservatives, no MSG, fresh in, fresh out.
The pork comes in fresh, goes out fresh. There's never any freezing throughout the process. We've always used fine quality cuts. We're never gonna deter from that. It's one of the reasons why our sausage is so good. I guarantee you put our sausage up against anybody else's from a flavor standpoint, no one will beat it, hands down.
Hey, do yourself a favor and do me a favor. Go buy a package of the New York style Italian sausage. Guaranteed you will love it, guaranteed.
All right, we're coming down the home stretch. Larry Krueger, Dan Coach Emilio, Ryan Smith. Not sure where Rye is there in Linden. A couple more comments. Danny, that picture of you on the sponsor thing, when was that taken?
Oh, geez, that's an old picture. Believe me, that's off my. I don't know what Lynn took that off. Maybe my business card, which that thing's got to be. Let's see, 2000. I bet you that was like 2005.
Eric L says, "Do you guys think the Giants have made Judge a formal offer yet?" What do you think?
I don't know if it's been made or, gee, it seems like they would have done something maybe they're just telling them, hey, look, keep this is what we're going to keep it quiet, or I don't know what's going on. There's got to be some timing to this whole thing, because Judge, once he goes, the dominoes start to fall, I think, because they may be waiting for, I'm sure Boros is waiting on Judge before he does anything with Correa. The one good thing the Giants possibly have working with Boros in the past is he's done pretty good. Their pitchers have done pretty well for themselves, like Gosman and Rodon. They come, they reset their careers. Is Rodon
going to go to the Dodgers?
He could. Somebody I read he could go to the Mets.
Really?
I mean, if they lose DeGrom, I mean, why? He'd be a good replacement. They have the money. I don't know. I'm not sure where that's going to happen. But getting back to the 49ers real quick, the injuries. Jack Hammer had put out Elijah Mitchell, sprained MCL, other knee this time, and also read where it said Kyle said it's not as bad as the first one. So my guess is he's going to miss a few weeks, 2 to 4 weeks. He missed 8 weeks last time. Spencer Burford, sprained ankle, not a high ankle, which is good. So he might be back for Miami. If not, he definitely, I would think, be back for Tampa. McCaffrey, knee irritation, and Debo was a quad contusion. Looked like he got hit. He was working on the bike on the side, working it out. So probably like
hard-hitting game for sure.
Yeah.
Guys, final thoughts here. 13-0. Niners get the win over the Saints. Niners go to 7-4, 4-1 at home, 4-1, I believe, since they acquired Christian McCaffrey. What's your guys' thoughts on, Dolphins are next? Give me your final takeaway from the victory.
Took care of business. Honestly, this game I was a little bit more worried for than even like next week with the Dolphins, because there's kind of some built-in excuses there. Dolphins are a good team. This was like, come on now. If the Niners really took the next step, they're going to handle business and pitch to shutout and cover the spread. So that means they did better than expectation, even if the offense wasn't spectacular.
Danny, you got a takeaway?
Yeah, a win in the NFL is tough to come by. So you take each win. I mean, go ask Baltimore if they'd like their, that win back from Jacksonville today. Tampa Bay gets beat by Cleveland. Seattle gets beat by the Raiders, all, unexpected. So playing against a very tough Saints defense with a trap game, as it looked like, was a big win. The fact that they shut them out and they did what they had to do. My hope is they come out and they're ready to play against Miami, because the one really good team they played this year was Kansas City, and they got their butts kicked. And you'd like to see them, kind of, you wouldn't want to see that again, because then you start to creep some doubt into the room, if you're losing to the best teams and getting beat pretty good. So I'm thinking they'll be ready for them. I like their chances. Back when they were 4-4, I said I thought they would finish the year at 11-6. Early in the beginning of the year, before we did our predictions, you and I, Larry, I said 13-4. Still a possibility. I wouldn't count on it. It's a long shot, but I wouldn't put it past this team to win either 11 or 12 games this year.
Yeah, I mean, I said 11-6 at the beginning of the year. And, I thought 10-7. Earlier in the year, I think 10. They're a double-digit win team. I don't know if it's a 10-win team or an 11-win team. I guess my takeaway is that so many people were in a rush. When Kyle has a 55-45 run pass split, there's a lot of people that are jumping over each other to announce that the way he calls the game shows he has no belief in Jimmy Garoppolo. Well, today against a pretty good Saints defense, he went 56% pass. So does that mean there's going to be everybody saying he put it on Jimmy's shoulders and he said, go win it? I guess what he really means is that he obviously felt like he could win passing the ball today with Garoppolo, and he did it. And Garoppolo, maintained no turnovers, no huge negative plays, throwing the ball away pretty consistently. So I think overall a good win for the 49ers. And now it's, lick your wounds and get on to Miami. And I thought this was a game that was going to be a trap game and that there would be low energy. They found a way to really fly around, especially on defense, and make plays. Hufanga led the way with 9 tackles. Fred Warner was absolutely huge. He had 7 tackles, 2 passes defensed. He had a hit on the quarterback. Bosa had a couple hits on the QB. Ebukam was back in the lineup. He had a couple hits on the QB. Niners were +2 in turnovers. So to me, that's it right there. They got a lot of weapons. Spread the ball around to your weapons. Don't turn it over and play like hell on defense. And that's what this team does.
Yeah. And, the 2 things, Larry. One is the Niners Kyle's always been a run offense to set up the pass. And I think he's kind of flipped the script the last few weeks, especially now that McCaffrey's here. He's using the pass to set up the run, and he's using the pass in a way that is like a run. I mean, if you get a little swing pass and pick up on first down 4 or 5 yards, that's just as good as a run up the middle. But what it's doing is it's throwing off the defense, because the defense is coming out expecting run, because that's been the history of Kyle. Run first down, run second down, and then, third down, he'll pass. He's mixing it up now, and I think with the weapons, it's going to be very difficult for teams to figure out what Kyle's trying to do. And secondly, I like where the Niners are at, because they're now at home for 2 more weeks, and they're just getting back to, a normal schedule starting this week. So I think guys are going to start feeling a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more energetic, knowing they've got their next 2 games at home on grass. They don't have to go anywhere for a couple weeks. So I'm thinking they're going into Seattle. I'm hoping, but I believe they'll go into Seattle 9-4.
Should be interesting. Jaguayo 56 says, "Here's $2 more. You freaking guys make me laugh. Stay blessed. Good night." Jaguayo, thank you, brother. Sports fan says, "Best show, no ass kiss. Keep it up." Thank you for that. Sports fan also says, "Larry and guys, great show. I'm out."
I like
we
that.
are as well. All right, guys, good stuff.
Yeah. What do we
2
got?
hours,
Tuesday night?
almost 3 hours into the live stream. 2 hours, 56 minutes. We still have close to 200 people in the room. Thanks to everybody who's there. If you're in the room right now, hit like and subscribe. You'll be alerted next time we have a show.
Yeah.
And if you want to be a channel member, you can go to YouTube and hit join. We'd love you to be a channel member. We'll bring some of our locker room content to channel members first before we bring it to everybody else. So definitely become a channel member. Frantic Rage says, "Laughed a lot today." Well, that's the point. That is absolutely
elated, though. Are you elated?
Yes,
Frantic
exactly.
Rage.
I am elated that we did this live stream.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you asked for. Here for whatever you bring me, getting handled. I answer to no one, I don't need to hassle. Yeah.